I'm pretty sure you mean that they weren't doing any good sim things, but I also like the
No
idea that
good.
yeah, they were
You
doing
no
no
good.
good sim things. Just up to those no good sim things.
All right. Well, here we go. Let's go ahead and play a different choice of game. This one is Choice of Magics. No, that's wrong, Maid. It's not Magix. It's Magics. It's a different word. It's a made up word because this is a game that takes place in a fictitious world filled with almost recognizable fantasy elements, and then it's just kind of its own thing. It's cute. I like it. And we're gonna play it. There are possibly many things. All right. Well, let's start with choice magics here. This is by our same old friend, our friend uh, Kevin Gold. Um, who had, I think that's his name, who did the choice of robots. Okay. Chapter 1, The Lost Academy. And please tell me if at any point sound gets weird. Because apparently it doesn't sound correct to me. Like, on my end, the music's actually kind of loud to the point it distracts me, but, like, it never plays through correctly if I pay attention to my own sound. So, you push yourself out the window of an ancient classroom, clutching a musty tome of vivimancy magic, and land with a roll on the cobblestone path below. Above you, it seems to be night, and you're momentarily confused. How are you seeing stars when stars have been obscured by clouds for over 2,000 years? But then you realize the twinkling lights must be flecks of quartz in the rocky ceiling above, reflecting the light of the magical street lamps below. Those street lamps continue to shine even when the neighbors' magic pulled this academy underground. They shone underground, while above ground, Abraxas walked the earth and declared that magic was forbidden. They illuminated this ancient place of learning, while everywhere else, wizards were put to the sword. You still can't believe your luck in finding this academy before the church did. When you and Tal begin following her bounty, a great burrowing worm, you had no idea it would burrow all the way to this sunken academy and its long buried treasures. Tal slew the worm, and its final thrashes collapsed the tunnel behind you, but apparently not before an Inquisitor followed you inside as well. He must have been shadowing you until you got your hands on this tome of magic, whereupon he shouted that you were under arrest, and here you are, more or less. You have no idea how the Inquisitor found you in the first place. Sometimes the Church has an uncanny knack for knowing things. You're not a wizard yet, but you're not sure the Inquisitor cares about this technicality. He probably wants you dead. Tal prepares to jump from the same second floor window you did. Her fingers move to her eye patch as if she's worried she will misjudge the distance. She hesitates a moment too long, and the Inquisitor's crossbow bolt lodges itself in her leg. Tal grunts in pain, leaps forward with her good leg, and lands ungracefully, faltering because of the wound. Are you alright? You ask her. Meh. Gritting her teeth, Tal jerks the bolt out from between the pieces of her black leather armor, ignoring the trickle of blood that results. I'm fine, but I might have a little trouble climbing up to that open window over there. Just too bad because it seems like our best escape route. She nods to the tome in your hands. Anything in there that can help? Oh, I'm certain of it, you say eagerly. You open up Prefata Vivomensia, or Introduction to Vivomancy, the tome that you managed to peruse a bit before the Inquisitor showed up. You recalled the warning in the book's preface: the magic of life may have unintended consequences. Well, isn't that true of everything in life? Do we heal Tal's legs so that we can keep running to the ancient dueling ground ahead, where we make our stand? Do we sprout wings and carry Tal to a high dorm window where something's glittering? Or do we part the wooden wall of the building next to us, dash inside, and reseal the wall?
I mean, they're all good.
Yeah, no, that's just it. This is a game with where a lot of times options might seem equally beneficial, and sometimes that's true, and sometimes that's not.
Okay, Gigi. I vote too.
Huh.
Because wings are cool.
Wings are pretty cool. Mate does want Tal to feel better, though, but the dueling ground sounds scary. So that's 1 or 2. That's right. What did Gigi say? You can't just say, okay, Gigi, like what she says isn't important.
She jumped up on the desk and was like, can I get on the mouse pad and get in your way? And then, in a pretty uncharacteristic move, she was there for a few seconds and was like, no, and jumped away. So, now she's at the door because she wants to be let out even though she was just let in. Also, door? Gigi door? Hey, what do you want? Oh, your chance ran out, you fool.
Okay, Maid votes 1 with trepidation, and Frank votes 2 with confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I should go with confidence because that's the logical choice, or if I should go with trepidation because Maid will only trepidatiously vote if I don't. Oh, that's right, Gigi was trying to vote. What do you think Gigi's vote was, Maid? You think Gigi voted 3? And also to render her dastardly nemesis Hinge useless by opening doors on her own. Alright, you know, I'm gonna say I'm going with confidence this time, but I'm not going to go with confidence every time. Much like the game, I'm going to stay on everybody's toes. Stomp, 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 stomp! I think I can grow wings and carry you, you tell Tal. One moment. Really? Tal says, clearly surprised you could have learned to do such a thing in so short a time. But you concentrate instead on the music of nature, splaying your fingers toward the ground and willing the power of life to flow through you. The smell of pine needles fills the air as a shaft of light connects your hand to the ground. In the light, you can see tiny living motes wriggling their way towards your hand. Your hand begins to glow red, and you urge its warmth to spread up your back and behind your shoulder blades, creating an expectant tingling. You quickly flip to the page of your tome, where you read about this transformation spell, then mutter the ancient words, Aviana, Aeroba, Volanta, Pluma. Immense pain courses through your back as 2 giant feathery wings erupt from behind your shoulder blades. You feel vaguely queasy as the spell cannibalizes your bones and hair to create these new appendages.
Gnarly.
With your wings fully extended, the transformation ends. Tal can hardly contain her astonishment. Trying to flap the wings feels a little like trying to wiggle your ears when you don't know how. But when you get the wings to move, you're surprised at the force with which you are lifted. Your body is much lighter now. Experimentally, you flap a bit more and are airborne. You giggle. You're flying. gained Vivimancy. By the way, in the future, do you want to know when your skills change, as with this mention of gaining Vivimancy? Yes, we are going to do that.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, oh, thank you. Hey, wait for me, Tal says, grabbing your leg. You quickly discover that, while Tal is quite slender, she is nevertheless heavier than you expect. You flap your wings fruitlessly for a moment, but the Vivimancy magic is still coursing through you, so you urge a little more mass to go into your wing muscles. And that's enough. You lift off, carrying Tal. A man in a white tabard appears in the window you came from, training a crossbow on Tal. Tal raises an arm to guard her face. The Inquisitor fires, and the bolt ricochets off Tal's bracer. Before the man can reload, you and Tal land inside the ancient dorm room. Woo! Tal says, and when you turn to look around, she gets a mouthful of wing. Okay, maybe you could get rid of the giant wings now? I can't even see what's in here. Somewhat reluctantly, you will your transformation to reverse itself. It's less painful this time around, or perhaps you've just acclimated to it. But it must have appeared painful because Tal looks at you in concern. Are you alright? She says. Fine, you say, panting. You think you somehow lost some mass in the process of growing and losing wings. Lost fighting, gained subtlety. Brave of you to be your own test subject, Tal says. I thought you told me earlier that Vivimancy could have unintended effects. Our responses are, I'm sure the downsides of magic have been highly exaggerated. I couldn't live with myself if I tried healing you and something went wrong, or I'm a little disappointed I didn't sprout a third arm or something, but having wings was pretty fun.
Are we confident? Are we caring? Or are we just kind of a mad scientist? I'm tempted by 3 off the bat.
I knew you would.
But I kind of feel like 1. I think I'm landing on 1. But I'm like kind of weak here.
Oh, well.
Well?
Maid
Yeah,
says
3
1.
is fun.
But Maid says 1. 3 is fun, but we think we like 1. Tal looks a bit worried for you when you say this. I don't know, it seems like pretty common knowledge that the ancients seriously messed themselves up with magic, Tal says. And that took a lot of spellcasters, messing up the world like that, you say. How much harm could one novice wizard do? Increased optimism. I just hope you don't get yourself into too much trouble, Tal says. Tal lights a torch. At first, you think the dormitory room once belonged to a woman, judging from the rotting dresses in the closet. But the dresses seem large in the shoulders, and you recall tales of some men wearing feminine clothing in the ancient days. Regardless of biology, the student clearly put effort into looking feminine and fabulous, judging by the extensive cosmetics workstation. Maybe I should get ready for our date with the Inquisitor, Tal says, wryly, regarding the cosmetics station. You aren't sure whether Tal has ever used cosmetics in her life. Her hair turned silvery gray at a young age, and she refused to dye it. She keeps it in a short ponytail, probably lopping it off with a sword when it gets too long. Her pronounced cheekbones have a few scars from fights with monsters, but she's never applied any cosmetics to conceal them. You're not even certain a dress has ever graced her wiry frame. You know that Tal could put more effort into her appearance, but you're also fairly sure she doesn't give a damn. Maybe Tal figures her appearance is a lost cause since she has to wear an eye patch. You'd think she'd be wrong about that, but you two don't talk about it. Well, what about you? What do you look like? Bookish and spectacled? Rugged and adventurous? A snappy dresser popular about town? Or I dress all in black?
I dress all in black.
Did you put your hand over your eye?
Yes. Yes, I did.
I knew it!
But I also do think it's fun to have like the dark the dark guy paired with the tough warrior girl. Because you can't both be rugged and adventurous in a 2-person duo. That's not good to me.
No?
But I also do like a snappy dresser. That's fun too.
Dark Guy and Tough Girl, Frank's 90s sitcom.
Yeah. They canceled it after 2 episodes, but we shot the whole season.
Episode 1 was Dark Guy, episode 2 was Tough Girl.
Yeah, I was gonna go on from there.
It's the one with the bad love hair joke, yeah. So, I guess we're kind of talking ourselves into this. This is the dynamic we want. Yeah.
Oh, yes. I didn't realize it was a
I just want
confirmation.
someone
Yes,
to say something. I don't know.
That's fair. Sorry, I guess I didn't realize when I originally said it, that was my vote. The hand over the eye.
You've always liked the idea of being one with the shadows. Gain subtlety. What does your outfit specifically look like? Black robes that once belonged to an ancient sorcerer. A long black dress that once belonged to an ancient sorceress. A black top hat, cane, formal tunic, breeches, and cape. Did you come down here in fucking spats and tie? A tight black outfit that covers even my head and mouth? Or a black handkerchief, black mask, and black tunic and breeches? Did we dress like a Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn character? They don't.
Yeah, the
Robe isn't a dress.
a robe isn't a dress, and neither is a formal tunic. And top hat. There's no mask.
Anyway, what do we want?
I want to like anti-vote the top.
Hello, fellow adventurers.
I don't want to be that character. I think.
Maid wants to look like a black mage.
Oh, I think that's the robes then at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Maid wants to look like Vivi.
Mm-hmm.
You found your black robes in some ruins that the church thought it had picked over. The robes flare slightly at the shoulders and the sleeves hang slightly low. You wear your hood up when exploring. You have sometimes imagined that your garment throbs with something like power, or perhaps something like hatred. Regardless of your own intentions, you get the impression your robes would like to burn the world. Gain subtlety, gain negation. And what sort of pronouns and nouns do you prefer? Why the royal titles? No reason.
GG.
I think I've already heard you talking about this character. If we're doing, it sounds like we're doing Dark Guy and Tough Girl. So, he, him, his.
There. Sorry, I had to let GG actually leave.
That's fine. I just chose our pronouns
Fair enough.
because you guys have already decided.
I guess that's true.
In the dormitory room,
I'm just creating a character that's just like me. Wears magic robes, wants to burn the world, is male.
Yeah, all those things. In the dormitory room, your eye is drawn to the past student's bookshelf, the first thing the Church Inquisitor would destroy if he were left alone in the room. You scan the unintelligible titles in the volumes until one catches your eye. Introduction to Glamour. What are you doing? Tal says from the window. He's climbing up. We should get out of here. Tal doesn't know much about magic. She doesn't know how rare this book is. You've never found even one introductory text about magic before, much less 2 in one day. It must be because this magic academy has never been discovered by the church. And while you could just grab the book and run, the magic of charming people may be exactly what you need right now. Give me a moment. Actually, no. We're making you. You get to be you now.
Oh. And this voice may change, but give me a moment.
You
Try
say?
to delay him.
Nice. Tal makes an exasperated sound, but you ignore her and quickly skim the first chapter of the book. Glamour of magic appears to work like vivimancy, but the power source is the self instead of nature. There appears to be only one spell in the book, a spell that makes a person incredibly charming and persuasive. Most of the book is devoted to the exploration of the ethical issues and negative ramifications of the spell. Well, no time for that. Tal shouts a warning. You look up from your reading and see the Inquisitor leap into the room from the windowsill, sword drawn. Tal warily circles the Inquisitor, who has drawn a mace. With your arms crossed on your chest, you draw power from within. You shine with a golden aura, and you smell something sweet, like cherry pie.
Oh boy, Philautia omnis, Cleos venenum.
Yeah, like that. The Inquisitor seems unable to look away from you. Beneath his handlebar mustache, his mouth parts in awe.
Oh, that is me, not him. Please don't try to harm us.
Please. You tell him.
I can't hold the power back much longer.
Oh. Gained glamour. You spare a glance for Tal. Though she hadn't drawn her sword, she had drawn her sword. She warily sheaths it now. I am so sorry to intrude, says the Inquisitor. If there's anything I can do to make it up to you...
Were you sent specifically to catch us?
You ask the Inquisitor.
And did you know about this place?
The Inquisitor shakes his head. The Hierophant had a vision of you exploring this place, and I thought it was the beginning of something important. Nobody knew who you were. I was just told to try to uncover this old academy or wait for you to show up. Whichever came first. I was digging for a month with no progress on the other side of the ridge until you showed up chasing that tunneling worm, so I appreciate the relief. His look grows darker. But magic is forbidden. If the Hierophant knew you were a wizard, she'd have ordered your capture like anyone else. When Inquisitors capture magic users or shapeshifters, those people are typically never heard from again. Most people assume they're quietly executed. The Church's official line is that they will administer justice as is their duty to the kingdom, and the laws on the books certainly dictate death for wizards and shapeshifters. Hierophant Elizabeth is known to be quite by the book. If anything you've heard about her is true, you doubt she would make any kind of exception for you just because of an intriguing vision. But you decide to ask the Inquisitor's opinion.
If you did capture me, would I be executed?
You ask. Inquisitors just deliver the wizards, the Inquisitor says. But I think so. He doesn't know. Interesting.
Well, I have new instructions for you.
You say. Have him explore ahead and fight any monsters he encounters. Have him leave and never report what he's seen here. Take his stuff, tie him up, and come back for him later. Or have him sit still so I can practice turning people into tortoises.
Would I have been executed? I do kind of want to turn him into a tortoise. He was gonna kill us.
Tortoise? Tortoise!
Tortoise!
You flip through the Vivimancy book until you see a drawing of a tortoise, then skim the instructions. Seems easy enough. Drawing life energy from the nearby rotting clothing and ancient organic makeup, you point to the Inquisitor and chant.
Morphus malus factus calus.
The Inquisitor is enveloped in glowing yellow bands of energy, and his skin begins to turn green as his whole body shakes. He lets out a yell as he contorts into the desired form. Yeep, Tal says, slightly dismayed. The Inquisitor's clothing shreds as he becomes wide, hunches over, and sprouts a tortoise shell from his back. In a few moments, his transformation is complete. A tortoise as big as a man stands before you, with a head that comes up to your chest. You suppose you didn't specify you wanted a small tortoise. Further, something about the tortoise's jaw is odd. You'd think the Inquisitor's yelling may have kept the spell from fully transforming his face. At least you're learning a thing or two about transformation magic from all this. Gained Vivimancy.
Thanks, mate.
Why? The tortoise says slowly. It talks. Great, Tal says.
That's for chasing us and shooting at us earlier.
You tell the tortoise.
Now go do something else with your life.
You point to the stairs. The tortoise bows his head and meekly makes his way out of the room. It looks like it may take him a while to get there. As she speaks to you, you notice that Tal doesn't seem quite so strongly affected by the magic as the Inquisitor. Perhaps she's a stronger will. You read something about that briefly in the book, but whether it's because the Inquisitor has been taken care of or because of the magic, Tal is smiling more now. How do you feel about this attention? I prefer women, but Tal is just a good friend for right now. Well, I prefer men, thanks. I don't have romantic feelings of any kind, and Tal knows! Believe me, Tal knows! I'm open to romance with anyone, but Tal is just good friends right now. I don't ever want to have sex. Going on dates is another matter.
I think open to romance with anyone, but just a good friend right now.
You don't limit your interest to one gender, but that doesn't mean you aren't picky or that you want to take shortcuts. Part of the beauty of love, you think, is that it's freely given. That makes everything about it sweeter. So, no orders for me? Tal says with a wry grin. You shrug.
Just keep being yourself.
Tal nods, pleased with your answer. Ah, shucks. Anyway, let's keep moving. Increased Tal relationship. You briefly search the dorm room you're in. As you search, the Tortoise Inquisitor continues to make incremental progress towards the door. You don't find much else of interest besides the clothing and some assorted devices in the students' drawers that you don't understand. But you notice that the students' sequin clothing seems to glow a little more brightly when you stand nearby, now that you have a glamour up. You think the students' clothes are enchanted to heighten the effects of glamour magic. Now that you're no longer in danger, you have time to change into some new clothing. The tunics seem to have auras as strong as the dresses, and they look a little more practical for adventuring. Take one of the students' glittering tunics, but don't change into it. Put on one of the students' glittering tunics, or bulky and conspicuous magical items I won't use. No thanks.
I think take?
Take but not wear?
I think so?
You take a rainbow-hued, glittering sequin shirt.
Oh, made agreed.
Made agreed. Could be useful, you guessed. You and Tal cautiously make your way out of the dorm room into a corridor with doors leading to other dorm rooms on either side. From within the room where the Tortoise Inquisitor is still headed to the door, you hear a deep, slow voice. I'll get you, the tortoise says. Just wait.
That's fun.
Yeah. All the other dorm rooms seem somewhat sparsely decorated. You think perhaps when this magic academy was pulled underground by the neighbors' magic, the students had already been evacuated. 2,000 years ago, this academy must have been very close to the eastern front of the Great War, and a likely target for the neighbors' conquest. As you're exploring, your glamour dissipates. You feel a wrenching pain in your stomach. This must be the fabled rot that comes with the glamour magic. Are you okay? Tal asks, putting a hand on your shoulder.
Yeah, fine.
You say.
I just probably shouldn't use that magic too much. It can kill if it's overused.
Ick, Tal says in sympathy. The pain passes.
I'm fine now.
You say.
Let's keep exploring.
Most of the students' dorm rooms have little of interest. Their textbooks too advanced or abstract for you to make sense of, but you hit the jackpot in one of the rooms at the end of the corridor. The room you find contains a wardrobe filled with black robes and dresses, a jewelry box full of silver, skull-shaped earrings, a table devoted to some kind of war game involving miniature pewter airships, dragons, and wizards. Forever paused mid-game, and most importantly, a tome titled Nihilus Magia Practique, or Practical Negation Magic.
Jackpot.
You exclaim, and then you get 3 skulls.
Jackpot, I exclaim, and then I shoot my magic-infused bullet out of my gun and kill a boss.
Nice. You exclaim to Tal, who is examining the student's skull-themed jewelry. You show her you're fine, and she wrinkles her nose at you. Ugh, really? Tal says. Don't we have enough clouds of doom still blowing around the countryside?
I thought you'd be more excited.
You say.
Think about the monsters. They don't stand a chance.
Yeah, but neither do the shepherds, who get caught in those death clouds billowing around the plains, Tal says. Try not to destroy the world like the ancients did, okay? She puts on the silver skull necklace in her hands. And if the dark sun starts telling you things,
it's a ball of energy. It can't talk.
Please don't listen. Despite Tal's admonitions, you skim the beginning of the negation text, learning in the process how to hurl a ball of deadly negative energy. It seems very much like your Vivimancy and Glamour spells, but the magic requires drawing on the dark sun at the heart of the earth. Sounds interesting. You're somewhat eager to try it out. Tal's right, though. Since every negation spell leaves behind a cloud of dangerous negative residue, you probably shouldn't experiment with it until you have to. Eyeing the student's very black wardrobe, you suspect these robes are enchanted to make negation magic more powerful, just as the glamour student's clothing enhances glamour magic. But you don't see any advantage to wearing it over your current garb. You briefly search the other dorm rooms, but they appear to have been mostly cleared out, just barren mattresses and empty closets and bookshelves. Your 2 options for proceeding are either a window at one end of the hallway or a spiral staircase at the other end. Looking through the window, you see a giant library, the bookshelves illuminated with the same dusty globes that illuminate your present corridor. Amazing, you think. Look at all that magic, all that lost knowledge. You're on the 2nd story, so it would be a bit of a drop, but you think it would be absolutely worth risking a dangerous fall for all that knowledge. You could try your new negation magic to blow up the window, although you almost certainly would suffer some negative effects from the toxic cloud it left behind. You could go down the spiral stairs and hope you find some other way into this library. Or you could use Vivimancy to gain the ability to burrow. If you burrow straight down, you might find another entrance to the library there. Do you throw your weight against the glass, blast the window with negation magic, I gain burrowing claws with Vivimancy and dig straight down, or, let's take the stairs. A magical drop, you could say, for Neo Geo. Thank you.
I feel like the negation magic is bad. Like, don't do that. That's just, like, I'm going to set off a grenade next to my face. No. But also the grenade, I guess, is, like, evil. Yeah, I don't know, just throw your weight against the glass. Why not?
You experimentally throw your weight against the glass, but it doesn't give at all. Tal throws her weight at the window as well, but it still doesn't give. Increased optimism. So?
Then I mean, burrowing claws or take the stairs. Unless Maid really wants to, like, make an evil cloud.
We still can't break the glass!
Stairs.
Let's take the stairs.
Just, like, this is
you see no reason to risk the unexpected side effects of magic when they can be avoided. You head for the spiral staircase and descend, increased caution. Looking down the corridor ahead of you, you are surprised to see a 6-legged black horse of the kind called a nightmare. It gives a startled whinny that causes it to breathe a gout of flame, and it turns toward you. You have no idea how this monster could have gotten down here. Its kind must have been breeding in this sunken academy for 2,000 years. The ancients once rode them as steeds, luxury mounts for nobles who had the time to travel by land instead of airship. Their fire-breathing was once a gentle flame that gave natural light at night, an ability that somehow got out of control over generations. The last time a wild one came near your town of Akraton, 3 houses burnt down. On the right side of the corridor are doors that probably lead to more dorm rooms. On the left side is some kind of stable, with black horse legs peeking out beneath the stall doors. What magic fed so many generations of nightmares, you wonder? At the far end of the corridor, past the nightmare, is a door with an engraved plaque above it that reads, Bibliovoltus. The nightmare lowers its head and tenses as if it's about to charge. Blast the nightmare with negation magic, or search the dorm room for another way around.
Well, mate, just to be specific, it seemed like, I could be wrong, but it seemed like only glamour magic does the rot you from the inside thing.
That's correct.
With
all
Vivomancy...
Vivomancy draws from yourself and the life force around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one time it was us, and then other times we drew from the life force of the clothes around us.
Glamour draws from your personal power, which leaves you with rot inside. And negation draws from the dark sun, which at the core of the earth, but it leaves behind a dark sun cloud residue.
Yeah, but negation is like bad, but maybe we should use it here, I guess.
You don't want to try to run. You don't want to try to walk by the fire snorting hell beast.
Hey, Chai.
Hi, Chai. I'm being I'm being a little hard and I'm being a little fast and loose with the audience participation thing because I feel like I wait too long for people, and that makes the stream go on too long. I'll tell you in a second. We're in the middle of a choice. You know what? No. Right now, we are a as yet nameless protagonist, a mysterious man wearing dark robes that seem to harbor latent malevolence. So far, we've mostly engaged in Vivomancy. Our subtlety is good. Oh, by the way, we are this type of... This is who we are because Frank decided that he's going to read them like this, and he's covering his left eye when he reads it. But also, he's terrified to use the dark magic.
Well, I wasn't going to use it on a window.
We are so far a bit optimistic, and everything else is balanced out because these two are really good at just going back and forth, like in the other game.
I think we did not go back and forth in the other game.
Oh no, that is why a lot of things ended up not high enough. It's because they kept on getting unbalanced. The only thing that was always low was military application. Anyway, so Bibliovoltus, Nightmare.
I mean, this is somewhere where I'd use the negation magic.
You reach for the dark sun at the center of the earth with one hand, and dark tendrils of energy spiral up your arm. See? Now you can hold it to your eye. You point at the nightmare with the other hand. The provoked nightmare charges. You try to pull still more energy. A burning, smoky smell wafts up from the dark tendrils swirling around you.
Nihilo.
You cry, and a black bolt darts from your outstretched hands to the nightmare. On impact, it explodes in a black and purple fireball. You shield your face and find that the dark flames radiate a strange temperature that feels like plunging a cold hand into hot water. Gain negation. Left in the space where the nightmare once stood is a seething black and violet cloud. Okay, my friend hurls fireballs of death now, Tal says, eyeing the negative cloud warily. That's new. From the stable doors to your left, you hear nervous whinnies. You seem to have convinced the other nightmares to take shelter and stay in their magical troughs.
Oh, jeez. They got Joe.
Oh, maybe. I think we can? I think that's a menu option. Also, I'm going to read all the text regardless, and I'm not going to take any suggestions until I do that. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's much better. Wait. Oh, I guess it reverts. Okay. Oh, God. Now my eyes have to adjust. Shit. Okay, You explore the dorm rooms on the near side of the... Oh, boy. You explore the dorm rooms on the near side of the cloud first and find a pewter ring that subtly changes your skin and clothing to match the color and texture of surfaces nearby. It's no ring of invisibility, but you imagine a more powerful ring might present greater temptations anyway. Gain subtlety. You then hold your breath, close your eyes, and plunge into the negative cloud. You can feel it try to corrode you and burn your skin. You gasp for air on the other side and get a trace of cloud in your lungs, where it lends a slight burning sensation to every breath. Ugh, Tal says, removing a cloth from her face. Try not to cast those spells too much, okay? You shrug in response. Casting your fireball was quite an amazing rush of power. Increased optimism, increased calculation. On the other side of the cloud, you explore the other dorm rooms. The other magical trinkets you find are inscrutable and not worth carrying around, and the books are largely duplicates of those you already found. But one item stands out, a yearbook detailing all the clubs of Magic Academy. You think studying this could provide useful insights into the world of the ancients. Gained ancient history. Having gleaned what you can from the dorm rooms here, and unwilling to vex the additional nightmares, you proceed to the library. Your hometown of Akraton has no library. In fact, you don't think there's a public library in the whole kingdom of Irenia. Yeah. When you were young, the word library had a similar feel to the words hoard or utopia. A cache of books free for the taking was too good to be true. Now you are in a library, and it's wonderful. The rows of books may well contain all the knowledge you have ever craved. The musty smell of the old books is intoxicating. And these are not just any books. Browsing the titles, it's clear that these are tomes of magic. Delicious, forbidden knowledge, ripe for the learning. The books glow slightly purple. You suspect this is an enchantment of negation that zaps dust and fungus before it can accrue.
Thanks, Mother.
You whisper. Thanks, Mother.
Thanks, Mother.
Your mother insisted on teaching you the language of the ancients herself when you were young, and her mother taught her, even though the family had never been nobility. You're not sure your mother would approve of the subject matter here, but you're grateful nonetheless. Looks like your lucky day, Tal murmurs, admiring the rows upon rows of books.
Yours too, if you want.
You say. Not if you're suggesting learning magic, Tal says. You're way braver than I am when it comes to messing with that stuff. Mind if I take some books that just look expensive and mostly not cursed?
Sure.
You say. Although you know whichever book she picks, it will pain you to find that she has sold them. You hunt for primers in the schools of magic you don't have books for yet. Divination and automation. The hemispherical magical lights above you are dimmed by dust and long-dead bugs, making it somewhat difficult to read the titles. Hey, why is there a humor section in the middle of the other magic? Tal calls out from a different aisle. Is that a joke?
I remember hearing somewhere that the ancients considered it a kind of magic.
You don't
remember why.
Aspirationally, you also pick up a book called Megali Magia. Great magic. The contents are unintelligible beside the introduction, which promises a cutting-edge look at how to perform incredibly powerful magic. The rest of the book may be too esoteric for you now, but you hope to unlock its secrets with time. You could spend hours in this library, you think, and why not? For all you know, there was only one Inquisitor pursuing you. But then again, for all you know, more Inquisitors are even now dousing the Academy's wooden buildings with oil and striking a spark. There's no reason the Hierophant could not have sent another Inquisitor, or 2, or 3. You'd best not linger over much. As you peruse the books, you notice that an author's name is often more prominent than the bland titles of whatever they wrote. You wonder whether your name will survive 2,000 years, and what you would be known for if it did. What is your first name? Names that are longer than 3 letters are seen as a little pretentious in your hometown of Akraton. Although the urban elites of Edra don't see it that way. Just gonna skip on down here to the something else. So we can name our own character.
Yeah.
Recall that people from Akraton often have 3-letter first names. Anything else is seen as a little presumptuous.
Desdemonia. No.
Your name is something that has to be said by someone who sounds like this. Well, I mean, Chai, we can still put Vix in. We just didn't choose the already given one. But, like, also, we're a guy who's into whoever, and we talk like this. Okay, come. Thanks. What's your...
It's the same name I use in all the arcades. ASS.
Really?
No, not really.
I didn't think
just
so.
Really like the idea. Is a joke.
Gigi is not amused.
It's a joke.
Hi, Gigi.
Oh. Kitty.
She's on her bed on the coffee table.
That's what I was going for, Chai, but I couldn't remember the whole thing.
Ebony. Oh yeah, and it's spelled. It's dark.
I mean, the
Ness.
3 kind of works, but
What's our name? Hurry.
I do think I want to stick with the 3-letter. I'm not against Vix.
Say it with the voice.
I'm not against Vix.
Does it still feel right?
Vex.
You said Vex, so I'm gonna go with Vex.
Well, yeah, no, I was trying all the other vowels in there, and I was like, no, every other vowel other than E is bad. For sure.
Wait,
Vax is bad, Vux is bad, and Vix, and
Vox.
Vox is bad.
Vox.
Yeah, Vox is bad.
So Vix, you said?
We can't do Vex. I think that's already a 3D platformer. Oh, that's with 2 X's, I think.
So, yeah, but Vix is also 6 and 10. For funsies. Or 5 and 9? Oh, that doesn't work. Wow, Roman numerals sucked.
Vex sounds kind of like Hex, though. Maybe it is Vex with 2 X's is one of the edgiest of the 3D platform people from the 3D platform era where everybody made those. So maybe Vex with 1 X is all right.
Vex with 1 X. Vex with 1 X.
We're not Vex with 2 X's. We're not that bad.
Vex, are you sure? And then, Vex then. And what is your father's name? In your society, before you register for a profession, if you are the son of Lon, you are called Lonson. And yes, it is Lon daughter if you are daughter, and if you're they them pronouns, it is Lawn child. Alright. Grimes tea latte. Thanks, maid. Cookson. Yeah, Cookson. What is our father's name? Who helped name us Vex?
Hold on, let's have a little... Damn it. New window, thank you. Well, Vex was made by Acclaim. So... Can we do anything with that?
Ackle.
Yeah, like ACL is a weird name. I'd go with lame, but it's four, like LAIM, but it's 4 letters, and also it's lame. That would make us, this is our last name, so that would make, Chai, you're asking us to be Vex's son?
Yeah, Vex, yes! Yeah,
Vex
she knows.
Vixen?
She knows. She knows that she's trying to name us Vex Vixen.
Vex Vixen. Right.
No, I mean, no, I take that back. Wait, no, stop it. Stop making fun of me.
I'm fine with AIM. It's close to Acclaim. It's pretty close.
Aimson. Serial Experiments Lane. AIM then. Vex Aimson. You suppose it would never appear on the back of a book, because you'll choose a professional name before then. Wizard Vex? Magician Vex? At the moment, it all sounds unusual and awkward, and you're not even sure Mayor Koss would allow it. You think they'll tell our oh, that's you.
Oh, you think they'll tell our tale in some musty book like this one day?
You call out to Tal, who is exploring a different aisle. I don't know, what's the tale? Tal shouts back. Is it, how Vex and Tal saved the kingdom of Irenia? How Vex and Tal brought magic back to the kingdom of Irenia? Or how Vex and Tal started a revolution and took over the kingdom of Irenia?
Ooh. I mean, I just feel like we want to bring magic back, personally.
Well, how do you feel about it?
I think that magic belongs to the people.
So you want to bring magic back?
Yeah. You let them vote.
I know. I told you. I said I'm going a little fast and hard for it.
Oh, okay.
I'll wait on the next one.
I think they're on a big delay, is why I say.
Yeah, I know. I did notice that. I don't know why it's such a bad delay.
I checked on my Twitch. I have almost no delay, so I'm willing to blame everyone but you and me.
Oh, okay. Good. Hi, Chai. I said this at 9:44 p.m. Yeah, so everyone's gonna start using magic now? Tal calls out. How's the queen gonna feel about that?
Panopticopter Vex. Oh, Queen Thela would make a great sorceress. Oh, that is a... Sorry.
That's a C.
Yeah, my window is sized just perfectly to make that look like an E. Thekla. Queen Thekla would make a great sorceress.
You say?
She's already kind of mysterious and reclusive. Very intelligent. Full of plots. I think she'd really take to it.
Increased optimism. And the Hierophant?
She's pretty old. Maybe. Oh, sorry, she's pretty old. Maybe, on learning the queen has become a sorceress, Hierophant Elizabeth falls over dead with shock.
And the rest of the church?
Can we focus on things everybody else could do with magic?
You say. Tal pokes the head of Noodles, her purple stuffed monkey, around the corner of a bookshelf. Could I learn banana-mancy?
What?
Tal says in her Noodles voice.
That's a wild thing to inform me has been here the whole time. What the fuck?
What's... never mind.
She
Silly
for
question.
just to get it out of the way right now, she wears it as a backpack, so it's
Okay.
been hanging from her back.
That's still okay. So that's. I feel like that's a vital piece of set dressing. but
I don't think
didn't
so
know
because
it's
we haven't really described anything else like that.
fair enough.
What's... never mind. Silly question. Of course.
Excellent! For my first trick, I shall make whatever bananas you own disappear! Tal often keeps you from taking yourself too seriously. And that's a good thing. Increased humor. Haha.
She's the only thing that keeps me from giving into the rod of this rotten world.
Yes! Oh, God! After a bit of hunting, you find introductory text for divination and automation. That makes a total of 6 thick books. One for each school, plus the Tome of Advanced Magic called the Magali Magia. Magali Magia. I don't know. I hate all things. You can barely carry them all. You suppose you'll have to come back with a mule or something. While Tal is busy searching for books that look expensive, you can't wait to try some of this new magic. Divination sounds promising. You recall the main drawback of divination is that it reveals some of your own information to whomever you scry upon. If you scry on a thing instead, someone associated with the thing will learn something about you. Perhaps the thing's guardian, or its creator, or someone very interested in possessing it. So what would you like to find out with divination? Where is the most valuable object in these ruins? Is there a potential ally here in these ruins? What might we most like to avoid in these ruins? So now we know the drawback of divination is that it gives a little bit of information about us to the thing or person we divinize.
Ally seems fun.
Oh, Chai's
And
caught
smart.
up, and Chai also says ally.
Hey.
She is making the correct choice. I'm just going to force that through. You decide to cast a spell to look for potential allies. Aha! I do love T260 G-Made. Ah. Monsters or golems that might befriend you. Increase caution. You place your left thumb and a forefinger on your temples and hold up your right hand with finger splayed. Willing your senses to expand, you intone.
Mysterion Nomai. Amicus Nocia Exanthus.
Before your eyes appears a vision of an ancient stone golem, adjusting some levers on an old contraption in what looks to be some sort of service tunnel. The stone golem itself is a blocky creature, but it wears a tattered tabard emblazoned with the crest of the Magic Academy. An open book, surrounded by a tree, an eye, a black sun, a gear, and a crown. On the wall, beside the golem, is some kind of map, but you can't make it out clearly. The golem looks up, startled. It turns to look directly at you. Then the vision fades. You think this is the drawback of divination in action. You've defined the location of the golem, but it has also divined yours. Amicus Briefus.
Oh, Tao, I think I found a potential ally, but I suspect it doesn't know it wants to be our friend yet.
You say?
Are you done?
Sure, Tal says, returning to you with a backpack that is now bulging with heavy books. You return to the section on automation magic and pick up a readable-looking tome on golem commands and protocols. Gain automation. Then you head for the exit to the library, a set of double doors that each bear the same set of symbols you saw in the golem's livery. You and Tal emerge from the library's main entrance to another quadrangle with false stars twinkling above. Where the last quadrangle appeared residential, this one seems administrative, with colonnades and porticos in the classical style. The tall wooden buildings were shaped by vivimancy and painted to resemble marble. Weird, but okay. Fancy in taste, cheap in budget. You've heard the university in the capital is the same way. So, why don't you just... Oh, so...
Doesn't look like trees.
But I'd rather paint them marble.
That's weird.
No, it's not. It's magic. So, why don't you just cast all the divinations you want? Tal asks.
It's... excuse me. It's just mentally exhausting.
You say.
Casting one leaves you unable to concentrate on the next. You need time to recover. And then, of course, there's the fact it tends to give someone else information about you in return.
I suppose there are plenty of things I'd rather not know, Tal says. You flinch a little at that. In fact, there's one secret that you've always kept from Tal that would make you afraid of ever casting a divination on her lest she learn that secret from you. What is it? It was Tal's fault. It was my fault Tal lost her eye. It was my fault Tal lost her father. I reported Tal to Mayor Koss.
I think the eye thing would definitely, like, we're not a snitch. I don't want 3. But I think I vote for 1 because it's like, yeah, that was my fault.
I mean, the eye is like the fitting thing, but also the father is like, that's so much
father's
more
big.
dramatic.
That is really dramatic.
So, like, I don't know. So 1 or 2 is what I'm saying to you, audience.
I'm anti-voting 3 is really what I'm...
That's what I'm taking into account. 1 or 2.
Yeah.
That was a decent enough glass of Huang. Not my favorite. Not the worst. Maid says aye. Shy might not be around right now. Or she might be 50 seconds behind again.
Entirely possible. All things are possible in this crazy world. Excuse me.
What's your vote?
Me?
Yeah.
I think.
Well, that's also Maid's. You were working as a runner for the local hunters, including Tal, letting them know when monsters were spotted in the area. But when you were supposed to report a manticore to Tal, you happened upon some ruins into the ancients along the way. You thought you didn't tarry long, but it was just long enough that you reached Tal just as the manticore slashed her across the face. Facing 2 of you, the beast then flew off. Tal has worn an eye patch ever since, taught you a lasting lesson in caution. But by knowing Tal so long, you've also learned her own secret, because you've caught her peeking with that eye that shouldn't be there. She doesn't know you know. She didn't see you saw, but you don't think you imagined it. There's no way Tal's injury could have healed if she were a normal human. But Tal is not a normal human. She's a shapeshifter. A race reviled ever since the Great War with the neighbors, when they were engineered by the neighbors to be assassins. That must be how she regenerated her eye. You hesitated to bring it up with her because you're not certain what would happen to your friendship. Shapeshifters are captured and never seen again. If Tal thought you couldn't be trusted with the secret, she would probably disappear forever. Which brings yourself back to the present, where Tal is ruminating on the downsides of magic. It's all like that fairy tale where the greedy guy wishes for money and ends up drowning in gold, Tal says. Sure you want to become a wizard?
With all my heart.
You say earnestly. Yeah, take your time thinking about it, Tal says, giving you a playful shove. Indeed, you've always been in love with the very idea of magic. You even formed vague plans about what you would do if you ever discovered it. What did you imagine you would do with your magical powers? I want to be able to vanquish anyone I so choose. I want to clean the world of the fallout the ancients left behind. I want to understand the world and how it got this way. I want to understand people better. Every life is a fascinating story. I imagined becoming well-respected, even adored. I wanted to be a peacemaker to get people to lay down their arms. I wanted to bring back the fabulous inventions of the ancients. I imagined healing the sky, causing our weather to go back to normal. I just wanted to be free to pursue whatever whims struck me. Or, I wanted to be a wandering healer, like a saint.
Well, we can't do healing the sky because if I ever stopped the world from being eternally cloudy and overcast, you would kill me.
Oh, hun. You know who likes the sky? Dragons. Dragons love the sky. I would never want you to leave a world that makes dragons unhappy. Also, good point made. Actually, made it is because earlier we did say that the very opening of this describes how can we be seeing stars? The sky has been covered in clouds for 2,000 years. So, now I know that you're doing this character, but there also might be a chance. Now think of it two ways. One, it's what this character would say. Or two, it's what I always wished when I was younger. Too bad I could never really realize my real dreams.
Oh, I was totally allowing for this person to be like,
I met you on the outside, but it's because, like,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm actually like a way more normal person than I think I am.
I mean, I feel like that's a really driving force of the guy who has to cover his eye like that. Is I used to think that I could find a way. I could find a way to make things right, but things just kept getting more wrong.
Let's see. Off the top of my head, I'm leaning towards clean the world, peacemaker, healing the sky, and pursuing whatever whims.
Well, say it in the words, the voice, and see how you like them.
I wanted to clean the world of the fallout the ancients left behind.
Oh, it's so filthy.
It's so filthy. Like me. I'll take the filth inside of me.
Well, then you know that. Yeah, well. Keep casting glamours and you will.
I wanted to understand the world and how it got this way. How did everything go so wrong? How could...
So wrong.
So wrong! How could they have made the choices that led to this? Would I have made the same ones? I wanted to be a peacemaker and get people to lay down their arms. But
the only way that I could find to bring peace is this.
Can peace truly only come at the end of a sword point? At the edge of the point of a sword?
If I can't do anything else with this eye, can I not just bring peace the only way that I can?
I just wanted to be free to pursue whatever whims struck me.
My whim. That's sorry.
Yeah.
I've been trying to reinforce with the voice, and that I find it hard to do it with that one. Oh wait, no, I got it. Free.
Yeah, doing that did actually make me lean away from free to pursue whatever whims. This is a character that is duty bound, I think, in some way. I mean, by themselves.
It's a duty that I hold. Oh, it is my duty. I must complete it. I cannot will never live it down. If I can, how will I ever face myself in the mirror?
Nice made. I think I'm going towards clean the world of the fallout.
Thought you might. It kind of sound. I liked the way it sounded when you said it.
Yeah, it was. It definitely
world.
felt the best.
The death clouds that sometimes pass through Akraton are a reminder of how irresponsible the ancients were with their magic. You wanted mastery over negation magic, not to blast your enemies, but to begin to heal the world, dispersing. Actually, this really works.
Yeah.
Everyone only thought of it as a power for evil, but I thought if I could harness it, I could understand it and reverse it. But to begin to heal the world, dispersing the destructive clouds that would otherwise ravage your hometown. You even imagined parting the greatest cloud of all, the negative sea, so that you could walk through it to the lands of the neighbors. What wonders await you on the other side? Gain negation, increased empathy. Methodically exploring the ruins, you head clockwise around the quadrangle to the next building, a tall, wide tower that looks as though it had some kind of crow's nest jutting above the crenellations on top. You pass through a columned portico and open a pair of heavy bronze double doors. When you open the doors, you find the golem you scryed upon earlier, standing in the middle of a great dining hall with long dusty tables. The stone golem, 8 feet tall and wearing the livery of the academy, appears to have just emerged from a door the opposite side. On seeing you, it booms in the dialect of the ancients. Oh boy, okay. Visitori non legitimus egres or thanatais vous.
Pretty good. Leave or die, basically.
You translate for Tal. I was getting that, Tal says. If you incapacitate the golem, you can probably find a way to reprogram it to serve you. You scan the room for anything worthwhile to use against the golem. The old crystal chandeliers are fairly large, and the golem is standing almost directly under one of them. There's also a lot of mass in all the wooden tables and chairs that might be shaped into something else via vivomancy, although you're uncertain whether you have the power to do so. The palace settings are bare, no silverware to hurl. Well, the place settings, sorry. Toss a ball of negative energy large enough to destroy the golem.
Costume palace.
Yay! With Vivomancy, I reshape the tables to entrap the golem, lure the golem under a chandelier, and then magically disintegrate the rope, or use glamour magic to convince the golem I belong here.
Well, we don't want to destroy it, obviously.
I am going to point out also, since this is the tutorial chapter anyway, this wording in this game is very intentional, but whether it's leading or misleading changes. So when it says, although you're uncertain whether you have the power to do so, it very likely might be hinting your Vivomancy is not capable of doing what you want it to do, or it may be fooling you into thinking in showing that your character just thinks they can't do it and they can. For the most part, in the practice chapter, in the tutorial chapter, they are warning you. But that is not always the case. In fact, I would say a good 50% of the time it's not the case.
Well, with that in mind, I guess that leaves two choices to me, is the bottom two. And even then, like, the chandelier, I don't want to hurt if this guy's gonna be an ally. I guess glamour magic.
You cast a glamour, crossing your arms in front of your chest and drawing on your life force. When you begin to glow gold and smell sweet, you say...
Falocia omnis, Cleos venenum.
The golem bends to one knee. Mea culpa dominex, the golem says. Non agnosio vor magna magnitudo. Looks like it worked, Tal says, surprised.
Naturally.
You say. But you weren't sure at all you weren't at all sure it would. Gain glamour, increased optimism. You take advantage of the golem's glamour to flip through the books on constructs that you procured from the library. It claims all golems in the ancient days tended to share the same password. Mentis Raza. Mentis Raza.
Mentis Raza.
Mm-hmm. I think that just means, clear the slate. Wink, wink.
The Mentis Raza state.
Or make it empty. I don't remember. I don't know Latin. For clearing their instructions, so any trained wizard could handle a golem run amok. You deliver this password and proceed to look up the rituals for giving new instructions to the golem. I'm sure Chai knows. During this time, your glamour wears off, but the golem remains docile as you follow the golem's manual's instructions. You don't know Latin?
Defend.
That feels like something you would know, and then go. And then I don't know. I don't know what I'm assuming for. I don't know Latin either. Wait a minute. You had elective Latin?
I know video game Latin is pretty much what I know.
I know. I have vague understanding of some Latin because of the Latin roots that are in French. I was never taught Latin in school. Like, once again, my school proved itself to be very much this is the poor district of town school. We are getting you a job at a grocery store at best school. Oh, you deliver the oh yeah. Ba-ba-ba! During the... Oh, did you say the line? I'm sorry, I started talking.
I did.
Okay, you tell the golem when you're done. Satere Dominix, the golem says with a nod. I don't like that voice. I'm gonna change it. Satere Dominix. That's better. I like it because it's robot. With that, the three of you proceed to the kitchen. The kitchen shows off the ancients' ingenuity when it comes to automation-based improvements to daily life. The room is chilled by a large automatic cryovault, its metal doors open and exposing spiky white ice within. You wonder how much power this ancient machine has drawn from the heavens in the 2,000 years it's been down here.
The power of the heavens.
Yeah. I call forth the wrath of the earth.
I call forth the icy touch of death. Now that's a dude who'd hold his hand in front of his eye.
And yet I don't think he does.
No, he never does.
Well, I mean, he becomes young and pretty, so he can't.
Mhm.
He's too pretty.
That's true.
Maybe
Talking Shinobi PS2 here, by the way.
Maybe at some point in between when he used to be young and pretty and when he became old, maybe there was a certain point when he did. On the kitchen counters along the other two walls are an assortment of handheld automatic devices equipped with drills, whisks, and blades of uncertain purpose. One amuses you. A small trivet equipped with 3 black wands, all pointed towards the center. You think this is a pico negator. Piconetiger. Oh shit, okay. You think it's that. A device that could heat food quickly by hurling tiny balls of negative energy into food. Doesn't that sound fun?
You could just start a fire for that one.
Do you remember how we just naturally assumed that the purple veneer on all the books was to make it so that fungus and fungus and mold were eaten before they could grow? That's what the ancients were like. If you were wondering about the suggestions earlier that the ancients destroyed the world, consider these things.
We just made tiny little
spinny sticks that just shot negative energy, just shot the heart of the earth from the heart of the earth into our food.
Fine.
Near the end, the ancients apparently became lackadaisical to the point of casual self-destruction. The inert flying serving trays equipped with metal claws and feathered wings only reinforced this impression. You notice some interesting items on top of the cryovault. There is a full alchemy setup there, with test tubes and distillers and magic burners. Behind the alchemy set are stacked wooden barrels. An alchemy set would be an excellent addition to your basement laboratory. Making potions is as easy as following a recipe, as long as you have the right ingredients.
Hey, Golem.
You say, calling your new servant behind you.
Do you think you could reach that alchemy set up there?
Sotere Dominex, the golem says, and it lumbers with crashing steps over to the alchemy set. You wince as the automaton reaches quickly for the alchemy set, afraid the golem will knock down one of the ominous-looking barrels sitting nearby. But it retrieves the whole thing on a platter in one swift motion and offers it to you. Success! You have an alchemy set, and someone to carry it for you, too. This day just keeps getting better.
This must...
Nope,
No,
just...
wait. I'm in the wrong spot.
This day just
Just
keeps...
hold on to that.
Yeah.
Just hold on to that for me, please.
Sotere Dominex. While you're thinking about it, you also pillage the most useful-looking parts from the kitchen tools and automatic serving trays, and throw them on the golem's platter as well. Gained automation.
Yay.
Yeah. Looking for more places to explore, you find a trapdoor near the oven. You throw it open and reveal stairs leading down.
This must lead to where I saw wow, I can't say that word. Our golem friend in my vision.
You say.
Those two words together just...
Nice to know he's polite enough to close doors behind him, Tal says.
I think I saw a map on the wall in the golem's room.
You say.
Let's head there and plan our explorations from there.
You look to your golem.
Lead the way, if you please.
Sotere Dominex. You, Tal, and the golem descend the stairs to the service tunnels. Dust-dimmed magical orbs on the ceiling glow to illuminate the grimy service tunnels. 2,000-year-old graffiti has been burned into the wood of the tunnels with negation magic. Initials of long-dead students, declarations of relationships, identities of cheaters, unkind words for bad professors. You wonder what the Vandals would think if they knew the graffiti would be their only lasting legacy. They'd probably be pretty excited to have a legacy at all. You said the neighbors pulled academies like this underground so they could be looted later, Tal says. So why didn't they loot this one?
I guess the negative C must have appeared between us first.
You say.
It stopped the Great War cold.
But then what about the neighbor spies the Queen is said to sometimes find? Tal says. Why didn't they dig this up?
I guess if they're spies, there can't be that many of them. But you can't trust all those stories. Neighbors kidnapping babies for no reason. Neighbors shapeshifters taking the place of the royal family. I think they're just that. Stories. Because if the neighbors really could cross the negative C, we'd already be conquered. They probably never had to give up magic in the first place.
With your golem's help, you quickly find the station where your golem was manning the controls. You have little idea what any of the levers, dials, and buttons in this alcove mean, but there is a helpful map on the wall. According to the map, there are 3 large rooms in this tower that stretch nearly to the top. The laboratory, the auditorium, and the arena. From your knowledge of ancient history, you can surmise a little about each one. The laboratory is marked with 3 symbols: a tree for vivimancy, a dark sun for negation, and a gear for automation. The auditorium would have been a place for school plays, with actors glamour enhanced to make the performance more exciting. The arena would have been a place for Harpiabala. Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Or Harpy Ball. The ancients had a conflicted attitude about the place of violence in sport, which they resolved by having monsters play for them, manipulated by magicians on the sidelines. They didn't have ethical qualms about this.
Oh boy. I think the ancients might suck.
What do you mean? Perhaps if you went there, you would find something left behind by those sideline magicians. But you'll almost certainly find harpies too. You look to Tal.
What do you think?
Tal shakes her head. It's your call. You and the golem know much more about the ancients than I do.
Golem, do you have any opinion about which of these 3 paths would be best?
You ask your new servant. Also, a peek behind the curtain here. I actually had planned for Frank to play the golem, and, because in my head, when I play this game and read it, the golem has a much lower, rock monster sort of voice, and I can't go that low, whereas Frank can go lower than me, despite what you might think. So I have been reimagining the golem this whole time, and it's been very difficult. The golem stabs a finger at the laboratory. Lemmeremalam, it says. No. Then the auditorium. Legion Arachnus. No. Then the arena. I don't like that voice either. Happy Ambala. No. Bad Spirit. Legion of Spiders. Harpy Ball.
Could you elaborate?
You say. The golem looks at you as if you're the dense one. It circles all 3 rooms with its hand. No. It seems any of the 3 paths would be equally good for getting to the roof area, not counting their unknown dangers.
I think laboratory.
Are we going to the laboratory? Chai also says lab.
Let's go through the laboratory.
You say.
There are bound to be some toys left over we could use.
Tal nods. Makes sense. You chart a path to the laboratory and set off through the service tunnels. Your golem helpfully points the way at various junctures. Satvia. Yeah, I can't. Satvia. I don't like that. You know, I'm hating it more and more with every time I do it. You do it. You play the golem.
I'm the golem as well?
Yes.
Satvia.
That's better.
Is that the voice you had in mind?
No, it's a little lower and more like bassy, but I know your voice and it goes certain ways. When you reach the end of the corridor where the door to the laboratory should be, you find that the academy has turned into a dead end, with its symbol depicting the 5 magics painted above the message Caveat Scholasticus. Beware. Oh, that's you.
Beware, student.
I did get that one, Chai. I actually do know. I do know Via. You translate? Thanks. Very helpful, Tal says. The barrier grown from the tree could be parted with Vivimancy, but it seems something dangerous was walled off here. Thank you, Chai! No, that was really good! It was so good, I'm gonna pour myself another glass of wine. Alright. Let's part the barrier! Something's not right here. Let's try the auditorium instead. Or, something's not right here. Let's try the arena instead.
I mean, There's danger no matter what we do, though.
It's danger no matter what we do, though. That's true, though.
And I want to learn more Feyfield. And also, like, if they sealed it off, it's valuable.
Yeah. You cast a Vivimancy spell, and light swarming with tiny living motes streams between your hands and the barrier. You smell sweet resin, halfway between maple and pine, as you force the wood to part along its grain, gain Vivimancy. The act of parting the wood leaves you physically exhausted. Lost temporary fighting.
Does that mean temporarily lost fighting?
Yes.
Okay.
Behind the barrier is the original door, a steel door that stands in contrast to the wood of the rest of the academy. You open the latch, and a shimmering curtain of light separates you from whatever lies beyond. You break off a piece of wood from the retracted barrier and stick the long splinter into the curtain of light. You pull back the stick. No damage.
I think this field is keeping something in, not out.
You say.
It shouldn't harm us.
Great, Tal says. You can go first. You plunge through the curtain of light. A polished metal cylinder stands in the center of a tall room, the walls of which have been covered with equations burnt into the white paint. In the center of the cylinder is a skeleton reclining on a leather chair, sealed behind closed glass doors. The metal cylinder is covered in automation ruins, as well as some symbols you've seen in Vivimancy and Negation tomes. It seems clear that whatever the cylinder was intended to do, it was the subject's final experiment. A metal scaffolding surrounds the cylinder, with ladders leading up to different landings. On each landing of the scaffolding are piles of automation-related metal parts and tools. Some are still in good condition, some still in good condition. On the landing, 5 floors up, is a door out. Well, Tal begins to say, and she gives a start as her voice echoes through the chamber. Well. I don't see... A specter made of writhing negative energy bursts through the cylinder, its glowing blue eyes trained on you. The roiling darkness coalesces into a skull around the blue eyes, and its jaw opens to emit an excited screech that reverberates through the chamber, causing Tal to put a finger to one ear. The chamber turns cold as the specter draws near.
Bene veritas metakinus zern.
Your golem says in greeting. But the specter ignores it. It points a finger of roiling darkness at you. Liberisez-moi, it says. Liberisez-moi, ut of mange vos numa.
Oh, I guess this is my
yeah.
thoughts, so...
Free me or I eat your air? You're not too sure about that translation, but you don't have time to ponder alternative interpretations. Cast a glamour and try to befriend the specter. Quickly cast a spell to dissipate negative energy. Negate the light curtain on the door. Destroy the physical skeleton with the negation magic. I sprout wings and carry Tal to the exit. Cast a divination to find out more about the specter.
I mean, yeah, dissipate the I feel like the dissipation. I mean, that's what we're here to do, really.
Oh yeah, is that what we're here to do?
Practicing. I mean, if we're here to dissipate the negative energy in the world, how can we do that if we can't even dissipate one skeleton?
Well, no, this is the skeleton. This is the spirit.
Yeah, but there's like the spirit is also skeleton shaped, so.
Well, it's got a skull, but there's also a skeleton inside.
There is a there's a physical skeleton as well. But I'm saying cast a spell to dissipate.
Or you could. Another tip I will give: divination in this game. A lot of times, especially if it's at the bottom, it is a way of It is a way to get more information. But it does come with the same drawback. Whatever you divine will get something about you. You are standing right in front of it, however, so that might not matter.
Yeah, if we're planning on killing this thing, we might as well divine it first.
Chai says definitely not the divine more option.
Because I can't tell what the weakness is. Like, the light curtain is tempting. As well.
What would we do?
Chai doesn't understand why you'd scan a boss for weaknesses.
Yeah, it sounds like someone's not a gamer.
Jesus. I guess it's true, which I always say. She really isn't a gamer.
Okay, Chai, would you like to scry 3?
Chai, there's only one person of the 4 people present for this stream right now who has attempted to get me to play Elden Ring. So...
That's true. Well, scrying is divination, Chai. Do you understand now? But okay, Frank. Go ahead. Fire.
Oh,
Do you want to scan it? Or
I
no?
do, yeah. Because I need to know its weakness.
Putting one hand on your forehead and stretching the other towards the specter, you create a magical bridge between its mind and yours. Resume.
Mysterion nomai, apocalypto historia.
You have a vision of a scholarly-looking man in wizard's robes working tirelessly with his more threadbare apprentices to create the cylinder you see in the center of the room. The walls are not yet covered in equations. The room is tidy. You see the man sit down in the chair in the center of the cylinder. You see the glass door close around him. And you see the whole cylinder crackle with energy, alternately black, white, and black. After a particularly intense cycle of this, only a skeleton remains in the chair, but the specter of negative energy comes forth. The apprentices applaud. What you see next, you're not sure you entirely understand? A man dressed in white comes in to visit the specter. They discuss equations and esoteric diagrams and seem to part on good terms. But then the visitor returns with a small contingent of wizards similarly dressed in white. He points an accusing finger at the original specter, and the wizards retreat to create a shields of light that seal the specter within the laboratory. Not long after, the academy rumbles, and the neighbors' spell pulls the whole academy underground. The end of the vision shows the specter doing math on the walls to pass the time. You blink. For some reason, you itch and burn all over as if you walked into a negative energy cloud yourself. Gain divination. When the vision fades, the spirit gives you an expectant look, as if it knew what you were doing and wanted you to see. Liberisez-moi, it repeats. Placere. Is placere, please? Like placate? Oh, I was right!
So... I guess it probably wants to... I still don't know which one of these things...
What do you need more elaboration on?
Which one of these things will dissipate it? Probably any of them.
Which one of these things will dissipate the specter?
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
You want to kill the specter?
Maybe?
It said please.
Did say please.
If I don't free it, how will I ever expect anybody to free myself from me? It doesn't mean anything.
So that would be negating the light curtain on the door to free it.
Yes. You could also destroy the physical skeleton with negation magic. Or you can just carry Tal to the exit and say fuck off to all of this. Or you can cast a glamour and try to befriend the specter.
What if we free it, and then we kill it if it looks evil once it's freed? If it's evil, it'll attack us?
Or maybe. I mean, there are also plenty of games where the evil the evil shadow laughs and goes, ha ha ha! Now that I am free, I can rain destruction! I will save you for last, my liberator! And then flies away. But who knows? Maybe it's not one of those.
Maybe it's not one of those things, with all the stuff you said.
Yeah, with all the stuff I said.
Maybe it's actually good.
I'm actually legitimately trying to not be leading in this one. I know the answer to all of these.
Maybe we don't kill unless we absolutely have to.
Maybe we don't kill if we absolutely have to?
Maybe.
Are you
We
gonna
can't let the darkness inside take hold.
Maybe the skeleton clinging to Unlife is a good guy, Chai says.
Yeah.
They were surrounded by students who cheered them on and then they were imprisoned by wizards in white.
Yeah, so he's
Once
a
again.
scientist.
Once again, good has imprisoned what they thought was evil, but I know what it's like to be thought of as evil.
Yeah, I think free him.
You also do still have the option of, or fuck off and do nothing.
No, I don't think so. I think we do something.
Negate the light curtain?
Sure.
I'll free you.
You tell the Spectre.
Be right back.
Seriously? Tal says as you pass through the light curtain to the other side. You assume it can't be negated from within, or the spirit would have done so. You draw on the negative energy at the heart of the earth with one hand, and then on the light's power with the other. You can feel the two energies meet within you, and it burns. Have fun with this one.
Catesis, Pithora, Suzunumi, Exalifo.
You chant. The curtain of light disappears. The mixed energies within you dissipate, leaving you exhausted. The spirit lets out a delighted cackle, swoops through the doorway, plunges into a wall, and is gone. Well, that couldn't possibly come back to bite us, Tal says dryly.
It's a big world.
You say.
What are the chances it wants to plague our town? Besides, its interest seems mostly abstract.
Increased optimism. You search the laboratory for other items of interest. The main item you find is an iron torque etched with a dark sun and a tree, symbols of vivimancy and negation. You put it on. Gain vivimancy, gain negation. The remaining items in the laboratory appear to be junk, albeit interesting junk. You grab an armful for later study. Gained automation. With nothing further of interest in the laboratory, you, Tal, and the golem head up to the ladders of the scaffolding to the catwalk and exit above. A corridor of maintenance closets, which you rifle through for spare parts, gained automation, leads to a stairwell at the intersection of 4 corridors. You think this corridor presents an opportunity to explore the rooms in this tower you didn't already thoroughly explore. Passing through the arena, the auditorium, or the laboratory would have landed you here. And you could go in the back way to any of these rooms to try to extract more treasure. Take the path that leads to the arena? Take the path that leads to the auditorium. Continue up the stairs to the aviary and air dock.
What's wrong with treasure? Nothing, if you ask me.
It's like it's saying to you, now remember when you picked the laboratory? What if you had a Gozi backsies, but you didn't reverse it? What if you kept everything and did more?
I mean, we need to make the most of this opportunity. I say go to the arena.
To the arena. You follow the corridor down a humble door marked with the words Omada Defendere. Omada Defendere. Behind the door is a nest of 11 harpies, all gathered around a silver tureen, eternally bubbling with a bright red beverage. Yikes, Tal says, taken aback at the gathering of harpies. The giant bird men and bird women begin to squawk angrily at your intrusion, a disturbing sight since their heads are fully human. Behind them, you can somewhat make out the rest of the arena below, tall and cylindrical, with several tiers of seating. But there certainly are a lot of harpies between you and them. You see an ancient crystal ball nestled among the eggs in the nest. You think you could grab it, but at the expense of potentially being pursued by angry harpies through the rest of your subterranean adventure. Fighting 11 harpies, even aided by magic, seems unlikely to work when you're already this close to them. Grab that crystal ball, harpies be damned, and run? Maybe there's lower hanging fruit elsewhere? Let's go. Or let's fight! I gather some negation energy.
These harpies haven't done anything. I don't want to bother them.
These harpies haven't done anything. I don't want to be a jerk.
I don't want to become that which I fight against. A jerk.
What does that mean?
Low-hanging fruit, maybe. Leave. I don't know, why would I steal eggs?
Thinking that you can probably find easier pickings than a single bauble guarded by 11 monsters, you quickly shut the door and return to the intersection. Take the path that leads to the auditorium or continue up the stairs to the aviary and air.
I wanted to steal.
I know. I wanted you to have the option to not.
Auditorium. I guess might as well look in the auditorium. Just sort of glance them.
You follow one of the corridors to what should be, according to the map you saw in the tunnels, the second balcony of the auditorium. When you open the door, you see that any audience's view from this balcony today would be blocked by giant spider webs. You also see the shadows of giant spiders the size of horses crawling on the webs, illuminated by some red light coming from the stage arena. So, fun. You contemplate just blasting everything, and Tal seems to recognize what you're thinking. No, Tal whispers sharply. We have no idea how many spiders are crawling around those webs. We grab anything left up here and go! Whatever, I start blasting spiders. Or I do a quick search and leave.
I quick search and leave? Why would I blast these spiders?
To get some more treasure.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, this sounds a lot like a man with a machine gun.
Oh, I can't hear it. Hold on.
Well, it's gone now, sorry. I can change it to the last one. I mean, it will eventually sound like man with a machine gun. But I think you can hear the underpinnings of it, and they go, oh yeah, I can see where this is going. So yeah, do we blast the spiders, or do we do a quick search and leave? Oh, by the way, I can show stats at any time. Our negation's looking pretty good. Our automation's looking pretty okay. Glamour and divination are a little lacking. Vivimancy's pretty nice. We currently have a temporary bad in fighting. -1 bad. It's really bad. It's so bad that there isn't a new bad. Ancient history is still bad. Subtlety, we're at 6. So I guess if we ever need to sneak somewhere, we're pretty okay right now. And our charisma right now is bad. We're doing fine with Tal. The church doesn't care about us. We don't know a lot of people. The kingdom doesn't care about us. We got some shit. We're optimistic, humorous, and empathetic. So what do we do? I will say that by this stats here, things that we do with negation and vivimancy and probably automation right now are more likely than not to succeed. Glamour and divination, it depends. But they are also the ones that are least likely to backfire in the worst ways. Usually. So what do you think?
It seems dangerous to be good at, if anything.
Which one?
Glamour.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
I get they all have their drawbacks, but like
Generating rot within your system forever seems like a little like that. What that seems bad to you? Whatever.
I mean, also so does going under the thrall of the dark sun within the world. It's also bad.
Okay.
I'll give that.
So Tal thinks that the dark sun will enslave your mind. You think, no, that's ridiculous. but it does create horrible negative clouds that I don't like to
Yeah.
breathe in. So I don't know that you'd become a thrall, per se. It might give you cancer.
Oh. Still better than rotting, like, very, very directly. that seems bad. And also, when it works, it's kind of like mind control, so, you know.
A little bit. It's a little bit different. It really just makes it makes you look... Really, glamour largely just makes you look sort of shiny and radiant, and people just automatically kind of like that. Except some people don't. Like, Tal is less influenced by it because she doesn't give a shit about shiny, radiant people. Think about it this way. It's like what the Vorlons. It's like the Vorlons. What they do with like the angel thing.
Yeah. Where you just look.
Where everybody sees you as kind of like a deific figure. Where like everyone looks at you and goes, "That's beautiful." I use my natural association to go, "That's beautiful." So it is still like mind control. It's less like mind control than it could be. It's like how the Vorlons were horrifically unprepared for Amaterasu smut. Thank you, Chai. They really shouldn't have been. So anyway, back to the spiders.
Yeah, back to spiders. As much as anything, I don't want to make Tal mad. Seems nice.
Tal seems pretty anti-negation magic. But also, that might be a problem because I need to understand it.
Yes. Thank you.
You did call it, Chai! It was a good one. I really liked it. And you knew I would like it. When you get me right, you really get me right. I'll say that much.
So yeah, I think I'm going for quick search and leave.
Alright. Tal's probably right. The spiders may not be worth provoking. You search just the second balcony and find a program for the last production staged in the auditorium, Spider and Web, about a man captured by the neighbors and interrogated as he's slowly wrapped in silk by a giant spider.
Oh.
The program might at least be useful for learning something about the ancients and their language. Gain ancient history. Finding nothing else of interest, you return to the intersection of corridors. Continue up the stairs to the aviary and air dock. Fuck you. You blew it. Gabish.
Gabish. You blew it, Gabish.
You emerge onto the roof of the large tower you've been exploring, where you see a giant green dragon curled around an ancient airship about 100 feet away. The airship has no propellers or anything of the sort, just a single tall mast for a crow's nest. But you can tell from its heavy metal hull, hemispherical on the top and aerodynamic on the top. Oh, sorry. Hemispherical on the bottom and aerodynamic on the top, that this was never a ship meant to sail through water. The sleeping dragon curled around the mast is massive and ancient, the size of a nice 2-story house, and its green scales look brittle and riddled with fungus and rot. Its breath smells slightly foul. You catch a whiff of rotten eggs, that must be sulfur. The 5 other airships of the air dock have all been smashed over the course of centuries, but the large central airship looks intact. Obviously, because a dragon made it its home, and a dragon keeps its home nice. Duh!
Duh.
You could attack this dragon while it's sleeping, like the horrible coward that you are, though an attack would certainly wake it up. You could also try sneaking around it to explore. You give Tao an inquiring look about the dragon. And she gives you a dubious look in return that says, "Are you crazy?" Golem.
Dracus Megafort.
It's pretty close. Your golem says, holding up a hand in warning.
Nebella Conflict.
Blast the dragon with negation magic. Cast a divination to learn the dragon's weak point. Sneak past the dragon to see what treasure it may guard. Or thrust my sword into the sleeping dragon. So do you hurt me, or hurt me?
Well, I mean, maybe we want the dragon to learn more about us. Yeah.
Why would you need to learn its weak point? Frank.
I don't. I just...
Why would you need to learn its weak point? Frank! You planning on killing it? You fucking monster?
I am a monster. It's true.
A monster that kills that which cannot escape what people think of it?
Yes.
I don't
Me and
think...
this dragon are alike.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Monster! I will tell you right now, with that fighting stat, using your sword is bad. So I would just get rid of that idea right away.
It's either Sneak Blast or Divinate.
You're planning on bargaining with it. Do you speak Draconic, Chai? I believe also that says... powerful dragon? Something about not being a good encounter.
And we are good at sneaky.
I think I'm right about Dracus Megafort, to be clear. I think I can guess pretty easily that's powerful dragon. Because Mega is obvious, Dracus is obvious, and Fort is strong or powerful in French, which a lot of their most basic verbs and nouns can be traced back to Latin. So, I am making a guess, but I think it's a very educated guess. And I get from Bella Conflict, good conflict. And with N, that means it's negated. So, there's no such thing as a good encounter with this dragon. It's really strong. It's what our golem is saying. Our golem, who also pointed at all of them to spell it out to the idiot. All of these options are bad. Don't go there. So sorry, Frank. What were you saying?
I mean, what I'm worried about is if I hit Divine, and then it's like you wake the dragon up, and now you have to fight the dragon. And I don't want that.
You do it will teach it something about you. Whether or not that shows up as a dream or something that makes it wake up is impossible to know. Or a valid theory, whichever way you want to take it.
But, like, I would want to know more about it. So I kind of want to divinate.
What better way to know about a dragon than know what that it hoards? Or you could also check its brain.
Mm-hmm. What better way to know dragon than check its brain? Yeah.
Alright, let's wake up the dragon. Are you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. You sure?
What's the point to do that?
It's
Do
the
you
wrong.
want me to sneak?
It's the wrong choice. Anyway, go to hell. You point a hand at the dragon, put the other to your temples, and murmur, Creatura Magna. Oh, sorry, that's you.
Creatura Magna, Apocalyptica Adenium Namia.
But the vision you receive is utter darkness. Confused for a moment, you realize the dragon has no weakness at all. This is what it is like to ask for a divination of a thing that does not exist. Gain divination. There is no way you can kill this dragon. The dragon, awakened by the prodding of your divination, stirs, stretches like a cat, and lets out a great shriek that seems to cause the whole cavern to tremble. You think it would be wise to flee. As you run back the way you came, the dragon leaps over you and lands with an echoing boom in front of the door, blocking your exit. Then it inhales, then breathes flame. You duck behind the central airship. The dragon's breath sets the whole air dock ablaze, though you avoided the brunt of the flames. You feel a pang of sorrow. You were hoping to be able to come back later for more knowledge, but with all the flammable wood and paper, everything will be incinerated by the time you can return. How will you get through the rock ceiling of the cavern above you? Chai says owned. Blast the rock ceiling with negation magic, use automation magic to turn the central airship's mast into a drill, or use Vivimancy to grow the wooden tower until it bursts through the ceiling.
Vivimancy.
You want a Vivimance?
I want Vivimance.
You extend your will to the very tower you're standing on, once grown from a single piece of wood like the rest of the academy. You can still feel the dormant life within the wood. Though its tree is 2,000 years dead, it teems inside with the life of insects and moss and parasites. It is these on which you draw, forcing the life back into the old wood.
Oh, right, I do need to read these words, too. Xylem, Flonem, Zoem, Viven.
You shout, and the whole tower shakes, then begins to grow upward with alarming speed. Such powerful life magic puts you less in touch with negation magic. But you suppose you can live with that. Gained Vivimancy, lost negation. No! The dragon roars in anger and looks about in confusion. Seeing the ceiling speed towards it, it leaps off the tower. Are you crazy? Tal says.
Get inside the airship.
You say. Can you fly that thing? Tal says.
No, but it's sturdy and should take the impact.
You say.
My first priority is not getting squished. If we break through, I can get us home somehow.
You, Tal, and the golem quickly take shelter within the old airship. It's dark in there, lit only by magical emergency lights along the floor, but you get a dim sense of a throne-like chair that must be the helm, and wooden benches along the windows encircling the bridge. No sooner are you inside than you feel the whole airship shudder as the growing tower pounds into the ceiling, squeezing the airship. You can feel the ceiling of the underground cavern strain under the pressure, and then there is a sudden giving way. The tower has broken through!
Quick, onto the deck.
You shout, and Tal and the golem follow you. On the deck of the airship, you can see that the tower has indeed burst through the surface of the earth, revealing the parched plains where you and Tal first started digging to find the ruins. You can feel tower and airship alike sinking beneath you, and the whole thing may collapse at any moment.
Aviana aeroba volanta pluma.
Your spell of Vivimancy causes wings to grow from your back. For whatever reason, this time you grow some brightly colored feathers in your hair. No!
That's not my look.
You somewhat like them and would be loath to pluck them out. Gain Charisma, lost Subtlety.
Oh yeah, I can't get rid of them. They have to be there. It's totally not something
Part
I
of
want.
my curse. It's not part of something that I like, I swear.
I mean, unless do you think it's lame? Because I really think it's lame. Yeah, totally. Unless you don't think it's lame.
Ahem.
Hop on.
You say to Tal. This is crazy, Tal says, following your instruction. My best friend has wings, and now I'm just hopping on for a ride. No biggie! You turn to the golem.
I'm afraid I can't carry you.
The golem shrugs.
Ola Kala.
Then it leaps away from the collapsing tower with an astonishing bound, landing on stable ground 150 feet away. It turns to you expectantly, awaiting further instructions.
Okay then.
You say?
Meet me in Akraton.
You think the town's name hasn't changed in 2,000 years. The golem bows.
Sertre, Dominex.
And with that, you fly out of the cavern and into the sky. The ever-present thunderclouds above you look surprisingly calm. This will be a good day for the farmers, you think. It looks like the sort of day one could spend entirely outside without fear of lightning strikes. You look down and see the cavern collapsing. Apparently the final hole you punched through it was enough to remove its keystone and bring the whole thing down. You won't be returning anytime soon. Ah, Tal says, rubbing your shoulder to cheer you up. Don't be sad. Look at it this way. You could have gone your whole life without ever seeing that library. Now you have seen it. And you can pursue your dreams. Eh? Maybe the end of one thing, but it's the beginning of another. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah,
You say.
it is.
You've dreamed of being a wizard all your life. The ability to shape reality with mere thought and will seemed almost a fairy tale, which is a crime. But you finally have the tomes necessary to make it real! The Inquisitors will surely come for you again. People have vanished for knowing less than what you know. A conflict with the Church seems inevitable. End of one thing is the beginning of another, Tal repeats. That's how it always is. And I have a feeling this is the beginning of something big. Chapter 2. Let's look at where we're at right now. Vex Aimson is a mysterious man with brightly colored feathers in his hair, wearing dark robes that seem to harbor latent malevolence. Chai says way more negation now. Negation is doing pretty well. Automation's doing pretty good too. Glamour kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Divination is eh. And our Vivimancy is almost excessive.
Yeah, when it said that we lost negation for learning Vivimancy, I suddenly was like, wait, if my goal is to cast away the darkness, should I be doing Vivimancy instead? Oops. Oh well.
Or if your goal is to cast away the darkness, like you said, and you gain negation for it, are you supposed to be learning about negation?
That's true. We'll just have to do both at the same time, even though it seems to be a bad idea.
Even though they seem to counteract each other and make sure that neither is high enough for anything.
That's the only way I can keep myself in balance. I have to put limits. I can't go all out.
Okay, now you're not fucking Sasuke anymore, you're Shadow. You're Fearless the Year of Shadow.
I am Fearless the Year of Shadow. That's so true. Thank you.
Chapter 2. Home. I'm gonna keep going for a little while. I hope that's okay with everybody.
Sure.
I'm kind of enjoying myself. I don't know. I like this game. Fearless West, the Year of Shadow.
That's me.
The skies over the kingdom have not been clear since the time of the ancients. The eternal storm they created 2,000 years ago with their automation magic continues to make the world a gray, rainy place. At the moment, a light drizzle dampens your wings, but the storm isn't as bad as it could be. Oh, good. I'm glad, Chai. This is by the Choice of Robots guy. It's the same author. Thunder crashes off to your right, somewhere along the coast of the Negative Sea. The Negative Sea is the huge bank of black and purple fog stretching along the eastern border of the kingdom from north to south. Accidentally created at the end of the Great War 2,000 years ago, it blocks all passage to the lands to the east, the lands of the neighbors, once known as the Magisterian Empire. Whether the neighbors even still exist is a matter of speculation, but the mile-high negative sea is certainly real. Composed of dense negative energy residue, it could dissolve anything that ventured inside. The plains to the west are scraggly and barren. It's early spring, and new growth is just starting to peek through the tan soil, but you can already see barren trails where death clouds have broken away from the negative sea and scoured their way across the countryside. As the misty negative residue is relatively heavy, it travels low to the ground, which is just as well, as you're not sure what would happen if the eternal storm ever mixed with a death cloud. You land a mile outside Akroton in a forest called the Mild Woods, so that you don't draw much attention on your return. You painfully pull your wings back into your body. While you rest from your flight, your golem catches up to you and stands at attention, ready for orders. Back to reality, I guess, Tal says, echoing your thoughts. She looks up at the thunderheads above. This doesn't look too bad, actually. We should be fine to get home. She nods to your golem. Not sure what you plan to do with that guy when we get there. You think the golem gives an almost imperceptible shrug.
Adieu volant, Dominex.
What do I care? I'm a golem. Wow, you're an idiot. Don't go in any of these. I really like the golem. The golem has a great personality in this game. In that it is great and also could possibly be entirely ascribed. But I like to think it's not. I like to think the golem does look down on us and then still does what we want anyway because it's a golem. It's like, all right, you're the idiot. I mean, you're the Dominex.
You're pretty much the only mage for me to obey, I guess, so...
I mean, no one's gonna, blank slate this shit. Not that I want anyone to. Anybody who does that would probably put me in the dollhouse. By the time you and Tal get back to town, it's sunset. The market in the town square is being disassembled for the day, with canopies rolled up and tent poles stacked. The scrawny sheep and heifers of the meat market are being herded down the street back to their pastures, complaining with bleats and moos. Some construction has halted for the day. The tall wood and rope pulley systems covered with tarps in case it rains the tall wood and rope pulley systems covered with tarps in case it rains tonight. You haggle with a vendor for a cheap tarp, go back to your golem waiting on the outskirts of the city, and give it to the golem as a makeshift poncho. By the time you return, the market is mostly cleared out, leaving only St. Anne sitting cross-legged on a rug, dispensing advice to her last parishioner. The white-robed saint has offered healing and holy visions to Akroton for years, and her aura of holiness is palpable. Well, this is where we part ways, Tal says. Thanks for the adventure. She lifts her pack, laden with whatever artifacts she could get her hands on. You can see old tomes and silver jewelry peeking through its opening. Mom was going to lose the house. Not anymore. I'm headed straight back to the bank tomorrow. Not even going to let her touch this stuff.
Not keeping anything for yourself?
You say. Tal shrugs. I don't know. Maybe if there's something left. Don't worry about it. Wait a moment, calls St. Anne. Tal. You need healing, St. Anne says, pointing to Tal's leg. Neither you nor Tal has been in any trouble with the church before, so you're uncertain how to proceed. You think the saints act somewhat independently from the church. Could she know you turned a holy inquisitor into a tortoise? But St. Anne has an aura of holiness that makes it difficult to mistrust her. Remembering your golem, you turn, but you don't see it for a moment. You pick its tarp out of a nearby construction site. You think it's huddling under it and pretending to be a pile of bricks. So that seems fine. See, smart golem. I love this golem. I love this guy. It's great.
I love this guy.
Rather impressive. I love this guy. Rather impressive, really. I'm sorry, Marie, St. Anne says to the plain-looking brunette who is her last client. It's no trouble, her parishioner insists. I think I was done. Then go with Abraxas. The plain-looking woman leaves. She looks familiar, but you can't place her. Encourage Tal to get healing from St. Anne. Forget healing. Ask St. Anne how much she knows about our day. Or ask St. Anne for a vision of my future, ignoring the suggestion for healing.
Encourage Tal to get healing. I like Tal.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
You may as well.
You tell Tal, increased optimism. Okay, Tal says. Guess we found something your magic can't do. You'd like to correct her, but it would involve explaining why you didn't heal her earlier. So you don't. Tal goes to St. Anne, kneels, and pushes her armor out of the way of her wound. St. Anne's hand glows, and you see tiny wriggling life in the beams of light that are drawn to it. It reminds you of Vivimancy, but this magic is much more impressive in a way that you find hard to describe. Anne presses her hand to Tal's leg and murmurs a short prayer under her breath. And then it's over. It's not obvious how this healing was better than using Vivimancy, but you somehow trust that it is. Now, let me see if I have some advice for you as well, St. Anne says. She puts her thumb and forefinger to her temples and mutters another nearly inaudible prayer. Tal, the time is coming when it will be better to reveal everything. People fear what is unfamiliar more than the familiar. With friends in high places, anything is possible. Do you understand? You're somewhat taken aback. Surely Anne is suggesting Tal reveal she's a shapeshifter. Okay, thanks, Tal says, frowning. She clearly doesn't quite believe it being open is a good idea. St. Anne winces and puts her hand on her abdomen. I think that must be my last miracle. Probably my last in Akroton, since I'm leaving tomorrow.
Where are you going?
You ask, again worried this is connected to the Inquisitor.
Can't be here yet. It's fine.
The capital, Anne says. I need some rest. She smiles sadly. I haven't ever had a holiday since coming here. Did you know? Not once.
Well, good luck.
You say, still uncertain as to what's happening with St. Anne. I'm afraid I'm out of luck, St. Anne says. But if I never see you again, I want you to remember this. I don't regret being a saint. Not for one moment. Life always comes to an end. All we can do is live it beautifully. You aren't sure what to say to this. And during your hesitation, St. Anne departs. You then say goodnight to Tal as well. When you're out of sight, you cast a divination to ask whether there's something you could do for St. Anne. But the divination comes up blank. If she's dying, there's no saving her. Increased church relationship.
Come on, Golem.
You say to the tarp-covered lump in the construction site, and it rises to its feet and lumbers along after you. Now a tarp-covered lump with legs. You proceed to the home of banker Sarah, whose basement you rent, and struggle with the storm doors as you try to conceal all the random artifacts you picked up from the academy. You have a feeling there was a clause prohibiting the storage of forbidden artifacts somewhere in that long contract you signed to rent the place. Working the doors open, you and the golem proceed to your basement abode. What does it look like overall? It's filled with mementos reminding me of my friends and family. The floor is dominated by a giant map of all the ruins I know about. I use a bunch of quirky ancient junk as furniture. One?
I need to remember what it is that connects me to this world.
Once I
Also,
could...
some of these people are dead, and that's kind of sad.
Once I could have been their son. I wish to remember those times when it was still possible. You have only one portrait, and it is of your mother and father from a few years back. It's small, quickly painted by a traveling artist at the annual town fair, and the general negative corrosion in the air has already caused its paint to fade. But you remember their love for you whenever you look at it. Of course the negation has caused it to fade. Will someday the negation cause my love for them to fade? Is that the only way I can clean the world? You're really picking the right choices here.
Yeah.
Your room tells the rest of your story through objects whose significance only you understand, placed in cubby holes and on bookshelves around the room. There's the hilt of the sword that Tal broke in saving you from a wandering golem. There's the brass locket your childhood sweetheart gave you before he was struck by lightning and passed away.
Yep.
There is the smooth black stone you kept from your first adventure in the ruins of the ancients. The only thing you could find after the church had not... The only thing you could find that the church had not already cleared out, and which you kept uselessly urging to do something magical. You have at least 30 of these things scattered around a room that is not really built for entertaining visitors. A single wooden chair and your bed in the tiny adjacent room are the only furniture for people in the whole apartment. But with these reminders of your past, it is comfortable enough. Increased empathy. One desk in the corner, given to you by your grandmother, is reserved for your laboratory. Humble as it is, or was before your expedition to the Sunken Academy, the random assortments of automatic trinkets, whose power you were trying to unlock, now seems like nothing compared to the haul you dump onto the desk. A whole alchemy set composed of vials, beakers, and burners that you lay out across the desk. The torque of life and death from the old laboratory. Some rather fancy clothing that seems to augment your glamour magic. Some things to wear that once belonged to a student who practiced negation magic. An assortment of spare automation parts you picked up while exploring the academy. And, of course, the hefty tomes of magic you found, which will form the basis of your further magical study. Not to mention the golem and the ring of camouflage you found in the dormitory. You had quite a haul this time around. Golem.
Vos Imperatus...
Imperiots.
Imperiots, Dominex.
The golem prompts behind you, still wearing the tarp as a disguise. It occurs to you that the golem might want a name besides just golem. What do you name your golem? Petro, meaning stone. Maximus Not, because I like counting from 0. Golem is fine, or I'll come up with a unique name.
I mean, unique name, right?
Yeah, I know the answer to this, I just want somebody to say it. What are we gonna name our big rocky boy?
Buddy.
Aww, buddy! At the risk of spoilers, I will say, the golem is not the only thing in this game we can name. In case you think that a buddy might be reserved for the future, I'm just saying. But if you want to call a golem buddy, that's fine too, because there are plenty of other words and names that are great that you can ascribe to something. But, like, I just wanted you to know, this is not going to be the last time you have the opportunity, in theory, to name something that you brought home.
It's like, what's loyalty in Latin? But it's fidus, which isn't...
Yeah, because,
not
like,
really.
fidelity.
Yeah. Or fides, I guess, for loyalty.
I actually remember that one. See, that's just it. A lot of the thing is that English actually has a lot of words that are derived from Latin. It's just we are incredibly stupid people, and we have fucked it up at every step, mixing it with every other language in the wrongest way possible. What would you like to call? What would the voice that you're doing? What would you call that voice?
I don't know. I haven't really settled on the voice yet.
Also, I will say, I'm pretty sure that the Latin in this game is, like, broken Latin? Not pig Latin, but broken. Like, it's only mostly Latin, and I think that's intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Petro, meaning stone, is effectively the name Peter, which is the name Petar.
We can't name him Petar.
Why not?
That one's taken.
Oh. By who?
Me.
Oh, right. Wait. Does that matter?
You can't have two Petars, I think. That's not legal.
Can you have two Nadas?
I don't think so.
Aww. Waxton, was that the sweetest thing you've ever heard? Waxton, are you asleep? Ah. Petar, we have to have this conversation again when Waxton's awake.
We should just start recording these.
Ooh, that's a great idea. I'll bet Belira would record it for us.
Well, if it's broken Latin, then what if we take fides for loyalty and reliance, but, like, mess with it a bit?
Okay, yeah. What about fidelitas? What about fidelitas? The fidelitas is fidelity. Fides is, like, faith, trust, confidence. And fidelitas is faithfulness, loyalty.
Sure.
Fidelitas. Our new friend's name will be Fidelitas. We'll be stack him to the heavens.
Stack him to the heavens.
Your name is now Fidelitas.
You tell the golem,
Sertre Dominix
says Fidelitas.
Vos Imperiatus? I think some of my magical experiments will probably benefit from having another person around.
You say?
And since Tal is smart enough to not volunteer for that, and nobody else in town should see my experiments, you're the perfect candidate for the role. Ola Kala.
That is me, sorry.
It is you, yes.
Sorry, I was just... The golem says uncertainly, but it nods.
Oh, that can
I
be
have
good
to. I guess I have to do this.
Guess I have to do that thing you said. Love that.
All that can begin tomorrow, though. Tonight, I'm gonna get some well-deserved rest, and you can too.
Fidelitas seems to shrug.
Ola Kala.
It stands motionless.
Too close to the other one.
Well, maybe it doesn't need any rest. But at least you don't have to worry about it this way. Happier than you have been in a long time, you go to your bedroom. A tiny room just big enough for your antique bed and drift off to sleep. When you wake up the next day, you're most eager to continue studying the books of magic you retrieved from the academy. Fidelitas stands ready to help, or at least it's not doing anything else. Which kind of magics will you study the most? Recall that negation is useful for fights, but leaves behind deadly clouds. Divination reveals information to you, but may also reveal information about yourself to someone else in the process. Automation creates magical objects but worsens the ever-present storms. Glamour makes you persuasive in the short term but wears away at your health. And Vivimancy is the magic of life and often has unexpected long-term consequences.
I mean, Vivimancy sounds the most fun, but Negation's clearly what our character is doing. Yeah.
I have to
feels
clean the
distracting.
world, even if it means scrubbing it of myself. I mean, absolutely, that guy holding left eye with hand would be like,
Yes.
I'm if I just... All I have to do is make myself more part of the impurity of the world. And when I understand that impurity, I can scrub it and myself from the earth. That way, I am the only one sacrificed.
I'll be going into the darkness so no one else ever has to.
You idiot! What are you doing? We're still your friend! That's really stupid, actually. So, negation.
Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure Vivimancy is just the JoJo from Part 4
Yes.
or Part 5. Sorry,
Yeah. It's
the one whose name I can never remember.
Oh, it's oh shit. I actually did remember it until you asked.
Damn.
Is it the one with Requiem?
Yes.
Fuck. I'm not gonna remember, so negation.
Negation.
You decide that negation will be your primary field of study. Now that you have some time, how will you accomplish your study? Detonate targets in the woods, practicing larger and larger explosions, try to part the negative sea with negative negation magic, or study the theory of the dark sun in my own home.
Two doesn't feel like practice. That feels very practical application. But I do think we would go big.
I mean, it's as practical application as, like, standing there with a stick and pointing at a cloud and going, "Go away! Go away!"
I guess that's true, yeah. Turn into a cloud.
Or, you know, I mean, actually, it's actually more closer to old man yells at cloud.
I do think we'd start big though. I like trying to part the negative sea. I almost said the Red Sea, which is not right.
I embrace the darkness in my own heart for a reason. I have to try. I have to try to pull this darkness away from my world. Like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You travel to the negative sea. Fidelitas, wrapped in thick burlap to conceal its nature, is too heavy for a horse, so it travels on foot, wrapped in burlap. I'm sure it looks fine. The negative sea is a giant cloud of roiling black and purple negative energy, stretching from one horizon to the other. The earth begins to look hard, dry, and scorched as you approach it. You've never come close enough to appreciate just how large it is. It towers taller than any monument or building you have ever seen. You begin to doubt that you'll have much effect on the cloud. Your horse begins to balk a good 100 yards from the cloud, so you dismount there.
Get the horses back a good distance.
You tell
I don't know why I put
Fidelitas.
so much. I put a lot
It's
of
important because not even the horses deserve the pain that I am going to inflict upon myself.
I like horses, I want them to be safe.
It's not their fault.
I'd like them because they're fragile, just like me.
Just because they think it's valid to eat fingers doesn't mean that I want them dead. They're like giant hands. You approach the cloud. You can see now that what looks like tiny tendrils of negative energy erupting from the cloud are actually 100 feet long, swiping almost viciously only to recede into the cloud. You keep your distance to be safe. You hold out a hand and establish connection with the cloud. It has its own strength, like the dark sun itself. You begin to draw on that strength and channel it back into the dark sun beneath your feet.
Partitus Skotos!
You shout. A tiny tendril of the negative sea snaps in two, and the piece is reabsorbed into the cloud. You try again, drawing more energy from the cloud.
Partitus Skotos! Nephos! Hypago!
A larger piece is snapped off, but it is again reabsorbed. Your vague hopes of parting the negative sea and perhaps contacting the neighbors beyond have been dashed. It would have been a huge task for an archmage of old, and you're just getting started. You content yourself with the practice, snapping off larger and larger pieces of the roiling cloud. It is useful enough for this purpose, gain negation. You begin to feel sick after a while, though, and you realize the very air you've been breathing must have some small particles of negative energy in it.
Wrong. Patine. Patiens Dominux.
Fidelitas advises when you return to it. It places a stony hand on your shoulder, and you feel somewhat comforted. Not even the negative sea can last forever. Increased optimism. You go home, but return the next day to practice again, focusing on your improvement instead of the final goal. Obviously, I started too ambitious. You're so involved in your magical pursuits that you don't really think to call on your parents. So they decide to come to you. You decide the drumroll-like knock on your father on the storm doors of your... you recognize the drumroll-like knock of your father on the storm doors of your apartment. You quickly drape a sheet over Fidelitas and tell him not to say a word. You take his silence as acknowledgement. I love this guy. I love the golem so much. It's so good. You quickly drape a sheet over Fidelitas and tell him not to say a word. You take his silence as acknowledgement. Your father greets you with a hug when you open the door. Vex! He's a construction worker, but he's always been more physically demonstrative than you would expect from someone with his profession. The hug gets some sawdust on you. You didn't even say hello! We weren't sure whether some great drake was munching on you like a big turkey leg. Rude. Your mother sniffs in not quite agreement. She opens her arms expectantly. The convention, she would tell you, is that the child is supposed to hug the parent. You do. You always do. Even when she's at her most judgmental. You proceed to get sawdust on her frilly, shabby dress, which she wipes off with a tisk-tisk. Your father looks around at your place. Got some new stuff in here. So many books. My child's gonna be the smartest in the kingdom at this rate. He's always been a clever child, your mother says in quiet satisfaction. You're a bit old to be called a child. Old enough to have children of your own, really. But you don't take the conversation down that well-worn path. The real question is, are you going to tell your parents that you can cast spells now? Your parents are usually a bit traditional, and you maintain peace with them so far only by not revealing the extent of your infatuation with magic, which is entirely forbidden. Pretend my finds were purely of historical interest. Admit to learning magic, but act like it isn't a big deal, or solemnly explain that I have great power now, and things will necessarily change.
I mean, absolutely wild. They could be like, oh yeah, I know how to do magic. No big deal. You know, it happens.
Mother,
like, no.
Father, I admit, I have read magical books, but it does not change who I am. I'm trying to I realized that I leaned in hard on the last one, so I'm trying to reword all of them. Or, Mother, Father, I would never betray you like this. My findings are of historical interest only, I swear.
It's obvious.
They must not know. They cannot be dragged into my dark path. There, I have thus created plausible reason for all three for the left hand to eye guy to say any of these. But what matters most is how you feel about it, because deep down you're the left hand to eye guy. And you're also the guy that stands in the corner criticizing the plan.
Mm-hmm. That's not the left-hand eye.
No, it's not. That's why I said also.
Mm.
Because they're different.
That's so true. They are.
No, that guy is more likely to be the Lancer than they are the Sixth Ranger. Hi, TV tropes. Go fuck yourselves. Joss Whedon's a monster. Although I know nothing about Naruto, so I can't actually say one way or another this is right. Is Sasuke the Lancer?
I mean, they're a 3-person team. I don't know if that has...
If the 5-man band applies.
Yeah.
That's fair. But he is Naruto's rival.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the Lancer is a rival. That's why I guess.
And then eventually the friend who goes evil and then they fight and stuff.
That it can also be the Lancer.
Yeah.
And then there's a girl. I know that much.
Yeah, but then there is a girl.
And she becomes a mother.
Mm-hmm.
Which means she can't be a ninja anymore.
Yeah.
That's cool.
She's, like, alright, but until then, I guess. Well, no, until way before then, when she kind of just stops doing things before then, to a certain extent.
Just like Taya from Yu-Gi-Oh! There is a point...
She gets more to do than Taya for longer.
I mean, I was going to say, there are episodes of that anime where Taya actually does do Duel Monsters fights. She beats My Valentine, because they all do, and then she fights a weird penguin guy in an episode that is almost certainly filler. I think she loses to the penguin guy, but, like, through the power of love, makes something happen? Also, you know, she did draw that thing on their hands.
She did draw that thing on their hands. Yeah, no, Sakura gets to have actual fights.
Well, that's cool. Too bad it doesn't last.
Yeah, I guess I don't know anything about Boruto, Naruto's son.
The only thing I know about it is that all of the lady ninjas become moms, and that means they're not ninjas anymore, which is different from the super awesome program. I think it's a live action program where a bunch of moms who used to be magical girls are now like magical girl soldiers again, doing cool battles and stuff, but they're also moms. I don't remember what that's called. I'm sure I could ask Jerry. Anyway, what are we telling our parents?
I think I have great power now, and with great power comes great responsibility. You should know this.
Well,
Things are gonna change. Mother, father.
You begin?
Sit down. I need to explain to you what I can do now.
Oh, this is not the right song for this. Hold on. There.
Oh, I can't hear the song, so I don't know.
No, it was like boop 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 boop. Now it's like ethereal and like ah. They do sit down, your mother taking the lone wooden chair and your father awkwardly crouching, and you try to, he's just crouching in midair, and you try to walk them through all the things you can do now. Negation, automation, divination, glamour, vivimancy. Throughout it all, your father looks stunned, while your mother glowers disapprovingly.
So that's it.
You conclude.
I'm a wizard now.
Increase solemnity.
Yeah, thank you for. I almost just said it.
You're welcome. Your father looks over to your mother to try to figure out whether he should go first. When she says nothing, he begins. Well, I always knew you were very talented. Just when were you going to tell us about this? Your mother blurts out.
My instinct reaction was like literally right now, and then.
Yeah, no.
I just did.
You say.
Practically as soon as I came home.
Although you admit to yourself that it has been a few days. If the church knew about this, all three of us would be imprisoned at the very least, your mother says. Didn't you think about us this whole time?
You know I've always wanted to be a wizard.
You say. You weren't supposed to succeed, your mother says, a shrill edge to her voice. Grace, your father blurts out angry. Vex is our child, and if he's in danger from the Inquisitors, it is our job to protect him. He turns to you. But seriously, you can't do this, he says. Where you found all this? It's too much. You can't suddenly bring back all the magic of the ancients. The church will want to kill you, and everybody in town will want to kill you. Look, your own mother's afraid of you. I'm not afraid, your mother retorts. But you think your father probably understands her well. Don't put this all on me. You're the one who's afraid of our child. That's probably also true. Claim I was making it all up to see how they'd react? Chase them out, demanding that they never tell a soul? Or plead with them? This is who I am. I must be a wizard.
Like...
Father, why?
JK, LOL. Like, what? I guess it's good that there are still some options for just being
a
really
complete
bad.
fucking dummy. Yeah.
Yeah, there were way more.
No, there
in Choice
are.
of
There are
Robots,
actually a
but-
lot of "what if I'm just an idiot" options in this game. It's really good. I really like this game. Slash novel.
I think it's got to be 3. I have to expose.
Father, please. You know I can't show this vulnerability to many. But you have to understand. This is the only way. The only way I can find redemption. Am I getting it right?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to be sure. I don't want to steal valor from the resident left hand over the eye guy.
I shared this with you because I trust you absolutely.
You say to your father, who looks slightly more approachable than your mother right now.
And I trust you a little less.
No.
absolutely.
Oh, okay. I thought you were making a joke. Oh, you're making a joke. I thought you were reading wrong. Okay.
I need you in my life, and I need magic the way I used to breathe. The way I need to breathe. Please accept this. This is who I am. I must be a wizard.
Your father hangs his head in shame for a moment. I told you, your mother says to him. It's just an idle fantasy, you said. What's the harm in dreams? Well, there it is. Well, you encouraged him too, your father retorts. To you, he says, I accept we made you who you are, but you must be careful. If it's a craft you love, I understand that. But the power you spoke of, well, if anyone should have that power, I mean, I would choose it to be you, of course, but well, nobody should have that power. So, please, just magic little things, alright? Can you promise us that? Just little magic? Your mother still has her arms crossed in disapproval, but expectantly awaits your answer. Do you lie and say, sure, just little magic from now on? I know what you mean, but no promises, or no, I won't let you hold me back. What do I say? I know the dark path I must walk, but must they?
They're not ready to walk it with me, that much is clear. Perhaps it was a mistake to tell them.
But
So yeah,
I
lie.
couldn't.
I'm gonna lie to
But
him.
I couldn't just keep it from them. I need them. They're the only connection I have to anything redeemable about me. I don't need to watch Naruto, I know.
Sure,
You say.
just a little magic from now on, as a treat.
Your father and mother both breathe a sigh of relief. But you know your promise is ridiculous. How could you possibly restrict yourself to insignificant spells when you know you could do so much more? I told you Vex would listen to reason, your mother says, pleased. You doubt she actually said that. Well, just give us an idea, your father says. What's an example of the strongest spell you might still cast? You think for a moment about what spells might be least shocking. Honestly, each school of magic is potentially alarming when you think about it. Divination is just as worrying in its own way as the black fireballs of negation. You settle on Vivimancy for a demonstration. You place a hand on the wooden frame of the door.
Ligna oh my god.
Humilibus.
Ligma ball.
Ligna humiliballs.
Ligna humilibus. Dare humilibus apodexius.
A small knob grows from the doorframe. You take a large iron key from your pocket. Your key returns to the storm doors of your apartment and hangs its ring from the knob.
Kirak.
You say, Kirak.
Kirak.
You say, and bow. Your father claps. Oh, sorry.
I too am racked. with racked with shame.
Much like this key, I belong on the rack. But not yet. I must escape punishment. But just for now. One day I will meet my retribution. Your father claps. That's my boy, he says proudly.
Oh, you're doing DIY stuff. Well, I like it now.
Your mother shoots him a disapproving look. What? Your father says. It's a key rack. What inquisitor is going to chase our Vex down because of a key rack? Your mother sniffs. They're normally thinner, but that's good. That's a good first try, your mother says. There's a strain in her voice that suggests she's still none too happy about your field of study, but she's unsure what she can do besides go along with it. So she criticizes your methods. She doesn't criticize your methods anymore. She criticizes your results. Like,
Yeah.
well, if my son is going to do magic, he should do it well. The key rack almost imperceptibly begins to twitch, as if the knob were its nose and the thing were about to sneeze. And you quickly take your key back. Your parents didn't seem to notice.
See? No big deal.
You say nervously. Your mother puts her hand on your shoulder. The things you love are always a big deal to us, she says firmly. And I've never seen you smile like that in the past 15 years. Just be careful, all right?
I will.
You say. Perhaps the stern, disapproving parents you thought you had were more in your head than anything. Increased empathy, increased optimism, increased humor. After your parents leave, you decide it's high time you visited the market to sell random artifacts you don't intend to keep. Colorful flags of different trading companies flutter in a strong wind above the market square, which is bustling with activity this morning. Though Acraton is fundamentally a small town, it happens to be the only town for many miles on the north-south road that is closest to the Negative Sea on the eastern border. A fair number of traders bearing mundane goods such as grains, dyes, and cloth therefore stop in Acraton, as do monster hunters and treasure hunters offering hard-to-appraise finds from nearby ruins. The merchants mostly trade from impermanent tents open at one side, but some wander through the crowd and act as their own auctioneers. Who will give me 50, 50 for a silver ring from the time of the ancients? 50, 50, 50, thank you! 55, 55, 55, 55, I have 55! The air is sweet, with the smell of cinnamon and curry spices from the south, and stinky cheese from the north. A copper haystack-like lump in the center of the market was once a tree sculpture in the ancient times, but it was melted centuries ago by a roaming dragon's breath. Rawr.
Rawr.
It was always said to be good luck, and one of Mayor Koss's projects is to fundraise to restore the tree. You think selling magical items won't cause trouble for you this far from the capital. Many traders out here near the Negative Sea don't ask too many questions. At any rate, possessing magical artifacts is considered a far lesser sin than casting of spells. What will you buy or sell at the market? I want to sell something. I donate 1 to 500 gold to restore the copper tree sculpture at the center of the marketplace. Buy one of those big turkey legs I always see people around here eating. Visit Seer Marie, the fortune teller. Browse some hats, or I think my business at the market is done. Or we have all these other options that we could do if we had more gold.
Well, what can we sell?
We can sell the Ring of Camouflage or the Alchemy set.
No, we're good at being subtle. No, I don't think we can sell those.
I think those are pretty vital.
I think so. I mean, I guess the alchemy set is but it seems really useful. I don't think we can sell these. Yeah.
I'm not highlighting anything in particular, just moving my mouse around for no reason.
Oh, it requires yeah. No, I figured we couldn't sell it.
This is a pretty good item. Sometimes you don't, in some runs you don't need it, so it's actually a pretty good source of gold, but also, there are things it can do.
You could look at hats. I'm just kind of curious.
The hat seller gives you a suspicious look as you begin to examine her hats. You messed them up, you bought them, she says, with a wag of her pudgy finger. These are custom-made hats as good as anything in the capital. We can't afford any of these hats.
Yeah, it's correct. This is expensive hats.
I knew it! The milliner began to rant, but you're out of earshot soon enough. What else will you buy or sell at the market? I love how this sounds kind of like Tetris. Sorry, you can't hear this.
Oh.
It's called Badania Blokov. So, yeah, no, this is intentionally supposed to sound like Tetris. It is Kevin MacLeod's answer to, but what if Tetris?
But Tetris is already royalty free. That's a
I think it was probably more a test for himself.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that in addition to making royalty-free music, he also just likes making music.
That's probably true.
And honestly, you know what? Well, there's a lot of referencing him in, sort of a disdainful, jokey way. I think he's good at what he does.
Yeah.
That's why I use it for these things, because there's, otherwise no sound in the background. But, and I think it's kind of fun to just, play some of his stuff. Mm-hmm. It fits, usually. And if it doesn't, it's because I chose the wrong genre. So, we can donate something, we can visit the fortune teller, we can buy a big turkey leg, and that's about all we can do.
Kinda do want to buy a turkey leg and visit the fortune teller.
Well, alright then. You see a fair number of people roaming the market with big old turkey legs and steins full of beer. Not sure about drinking this early in the day, but those turkey legs look fun. You purchase one. Why not? Lost 5 gold, increased humor. Who cares? Who cares, really? If I want... why not just want... Ike, are you really going to let other people stop you from buying a turkey leg and munching on it in the market? Fortune teller. You pass through a curtain of wooden beads and enter a fortune-telling tent, thick with the smell of incense. The fortune teller is a woman wearing a bronze headdress inset with many tiny zirconium jewels, thick gilt chains in layers around her neck, and a red dress that opens down the middle in a revealing way. It is a costume deliberately meant to evoke the period of Hierophant Alexander, who ruled the church 1,000 years ago and believed all pious people could see the future with sufficient faith in Abraxas. A wooden sign above the fortune teller reads, "All fortunes are the result of prayers to Abraxas and are for entertainment purposes only." Like it's an Amazon product. The fortune teller looks up from a spread of mystical cards. Callow cards, each of which has a name supposedly signifying stages of life's journey. The Wild, the Trump, and the Start Over. Her deck is not from the time of the ancients, but is embellished with the fantastical drawings that became popular over the years. The Start Over shows a huge negation blast of the kind that would level whole cities during the Great War. I am Seer Marie, the fortune teller says melodramatically, waving her fingers unnecessarily and emphasizing her slightly exotic name. She's got more than 3 letters. Yeah. Would you like to know the secrets of the future? I fear what I will hear, but I must know. I look forward to it. Hit me.
I fear what I will hear, but I must know. That's yeah.
Oh yeah. The fortune
Yeah.
teller nods at your solemn response. Increased solemnity, increased caution, lost 25 gold. Seer Marie deals out 4 Kello cards, 1 across the other, and 2 more in a line from there. She points to the card underneath another card. It is the Wild, depicted as with a dancing jester. This card represents the questioner. The Wild indicates that you have many possibilities within you, but possibly also that you can be irresponsible. In some decks, it is called the Fool.
Sounds about right.
You agree? She points to the card on top of that card. The Cascade, symbolized on the card with an avalanche of boulders. This card represents immediate influences on you. The Cascade suggests that some unstoppable chain of events will soon come to pass. Something you cannot possibly avoid. Rocky times ahead for you.
How can a chain of events be unstoppable?
You protest.
Every fate is avoidable somehow. Ugh.
Seer Mary points to the card. Immediately next to those 2 cards, it shows 10 little figures, each offering up a different gift. This card is called the 10 Points, the fortune teller says. It is in the position of the near future. After the rocky times, you will receive gifts and offers of kindness.
10 of them?
It's not that specific, the fortune teller says dryly. And
Not how it works.
shut up, stop it. And finally, the split. The painting on this card is of a fork in the road. After the gifts, You will make a big decision that will have a huge impact on subsequent events. Make it carefully. The fortune teller gathers the cards up. The fortune seems to be over. Couldn't that fortune have been applied to anybody, anytime? Thank you very much. I'll consider what you said. Can I interest you in learning real magic?
Are we just gonna I don't think we're teaching people, at least not random people. We're not at that point in our arc yet.
She's a seer, though. Does she not deserve to see the future? But can I just hand this power to somebody who may wield it irresponsibly? Is she not a charlatan, already preying on the people of this town? But could I correct that? What do I choose? Is it mine to know alone? Is it for her to ever know?
Regardless of if she's done real magic or not, there's much to consider. Thank you very much.
I'll consider what you have said.
Yes.
You politely take your leave of the fortune teller. Well, you know she didn't use any real magic. Perhaps the cards are simply food for thought. Increased optimism, increased empathy. What else will you buy or sell at the market?
It's nothing. Because there's nothing.
You don't want to donate for the copper tree?
Oh, we can still do that, right? I suppose so. Yeah, we'll donate a little bit. But we can't really afford very much, because we can't afford very much.
A young woman with long blonde hair is staffing a tent next to a wooden sign that says Acraton Market Restoration Fund. Hello, would you like to help restore our town's vital market square? The blonde woman rattles off. Mayor Cost will write a thank you to every person who contributes. All we need is... The blonde woman looks at a ledger in her hands and does some arithmetic. Huh. Exactly 500 gold to go. Oh, we might actually do it this year. She looks up at you. We're so close. You gonna give something? Anything? Please. How much will you contribute?
1 or 50 are our choices?
Well, because we only have
Right.
that much gold, we could contribute all of it and immediately be like, fix that tree. I love that copper tree. Much like our artificial Christmas tree, actually. Hey, Gigi.
I think we give only one.
Only one? Alright. You drop a gold piece in the bucket of the tent's table. The blonde woman looks you up and down, estimating how much more you could have given, and frowns. Thank you, every little bit counts, she says dismissively, and she turns her attention to the next potential patron. Lost 1 gold, increased empathy. You now have 69 gold!
Nice!
Nice!
We did it. We did it. We did it, everybody. We did it.
Ding, 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 ding.
We can stop. Game over. We won.
That's my
stay saved.
That's my sign turned on its side.
Oh.
Cancer is 2 little whirligig circles with tails. So it is 69 on its side, literally.
Nice.
Yeah, no, my sign is nice. So to all of you people out there who would go, why even pay attention to astrology? It's because you could potentially have the sex number as your astrology symbol. Duh.
Can I have the funny weed number?
No. Actually, well, Jupiter does look like a 4. You could make Saturn. You could make Saturn look like a 2. And then 0's just the sun. Yeah, actually, you could. It'd be really hard, but you could make it happen.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's what you're all missing. Listen to your girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
You decide you're done shopping for now. Just as you're about to head home, you hear fruit seller Fran cry, "Thief!" You spin around to see a man in drab brown clothing brazenly running off with a basket of red apples, leaving a large gap in the offerings of Fran's fruit cart. He easily shoves aside all the townsfolk who try to get in his way. Fran uselessly shakes her walking stick at him, crying, "Thief! Thief!" until she starts to lose her balance and leans on it again. "Thief!" she cries hoarsely. You think you can tell which horse at the corner of the market he's running to. He'll pass within 20 feet of you. A negation blast is probably out of the question, but you have other options. If you're subtle, you can cast something without attracting attention. I use Vivimancy to make a nearby tree trip him. I cast a glamour and then cry out, "Halt!" I don't want to attract attention. The thief can escape.
I think 3.
You think 3?
We've got too many problems to deal with. We can't.
I can't be discovered. Not yet. I have to get closer to my goal. They won't understand. This has to be done. I can't be stopped now. You'd prefer to keep a low profile now that you're a magic user. Certainly the best way to stop that man that you can think of would all involve magic. The best ways. You watch as the thief disappears into the nearby alleyways with a stolen basket of apples. Increase caution, increase calculation. But the whole matter of the thief is quickly forgotten when a man down the street shouts, "Death Cloud!" Looking down Main Street to the east, you can see a dark purple and black cloud on the horizon. The cloud looks big, maybe as big as the town. Judging from the strong wind today, it may be here in less than an hour. This is not Akraton's first brush with a cloud of negative energy. Immediately, the merchants break down their tents, and many market patrons hurry into their houses and basements. Shutters snap shut all down the street. The animal sellers hastily bargain with landowners, and then push their sheep through storm doors into the basement. A baby cries madly despite her mother's tense reassurances. Some people uproot flowers as they pass them. They'll be no good to anybody else soon enough, since everybody will be sheltering inside soon. You could help out the town with some magic, but you think it will take some very powerful magic indeed to stop this cloud. Use automation to repair the town's ancient, rusty set of giant fans. Part the cloud with negation magic. Use divination to find stragglers whom this cloud might kill. Take shelter myself and continue my magical studies. This is where we're at. Negation and Vivimancy are even. Automation's doing alright. Divination's okay. Glamour, Glamour's not good.
I don't like the glamour guy.
That's fine, you don't have to be the glamour guy. Is this the time? Do I harness the dark power? Do I save people, even though they believe it is only for bad?
I think it is the time.
Oh, is it the time? But wait, am I ready? Am I strong enough? I don't know. What do I do? Mother, father, no! I cannot ask them. I have to come to this decision on my own. I must stand on my own 2 feet. What will I do?
Think part the cloud with negation. If I can't even stop this, then what good am I? What good is this power?
Good point, good point. You go to the eastern edge of town, near the giant rusty old fans where you used to play when you were young. But as your automation magic seems unlikely to be up to the task of resurrecting those old husks, those old hulks, you decide to take a more direct approach and part the clouds with negation. The enormity of your task looms large as the dark cloud draws closer. It must be taller than any building in town. 5 stories? 6? As it approaches, you can hear the buzzing of negative energy carried to you on the wind. When it is 300 feet away, you begin drawing on the energy of the cloud, as though it were the dark sun itself. You pull on a loop of negative energy so that it stretches all the way to your hands. The wind picks up, and the cloud moves in a burst of speed towards you.
Partita Skotos.
You cry, twisting the loop into the cloud to turn the cloud against itself.
Nephos Hypago.
You release the negative energy you had been holding, and the loop snaps back. When the loop hits the cloud, the whole thing bursts apart into tiny particles that drift away on the breeze. You did it.
I did it.
I knew it. I knew there was more to this power but destruction. If I can just channel it properly. I can't let Naruto stop me. He doesn't understand.
Power comes from destruction. I need this power.
There's a party that night in the market
By
square.
the way, it's
at
not
sundown.
just the two exemplars of the form are probably of this type of character are probably Sasuke and Virgil. Just to be clear.
I mean, yeah, but it's not as much fun to counter Virgil with Dante as it is Sasuke with Naruto. Like, Virgil with Dante is like a competent clash of two powers that's like... and like, that's like cool. But Naruto and Sasuke is so... The deck is so stacked in the narrative department. It's just like, yeah, I know, Naruto's gonna win eventually. I don't care.
He doesn't.
Oh.
Who
does?
Yeah, no. The climax at the very end of is it the very? I think it's the end of the original Naruto before they did the time skip sequel thing. There's just this long thing where they're basically chasing after Sasuke, and this character fights that evil person, and then it comes down to Naruto and Sasuke wins and leaves.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, no, I go to bat for Naruto. I think it's fun and kind of
Well,
cool.
I guess you're gonna have to show me at some point, because all I know is that it's what losers on the internet refer to when they're inspired by something really stupid. So Reddit. I'm used to Reddit's conception.
I mean, it also has a lot of things that suck.
Like how all the girls have to give up being ninjas because they give birth.
Mm-hmm. Or everything about Naruto as a character. It's kind of just grating.
I think I've mentioned it before, but one of the things I did with one of my old roommates is I would write her fanfiction that was so out of character because I had no idea who any of the characters were.
Oh, yeah.
And the main character of that fanfiction was crass, brazen, fuck hard, like live hard, fuck hard, like abusively loud Hinata from Naruto. And her boyfriend was Zuko, whom she screamed at constantly. Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. And she just sort of... And she made best friends with Amy Rose, who was pregnant, but she was 17, so it was okay. If she had been 18, Hinata would have thrown her out. Because that's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I was told very quickly Hinata is not blonde, and I was like, cool. So blonde Hinata does this. She's
Hinata,
also
a
her
notable
brother,
blonde.
and she she has a long lost brother, Al Gore.
Sure, yeah.
And she's friends with Mario
Well,
and
who is-
and Amelia Earhart.
well, who isn't?
Oh, that's still in one of my phones somewhere. Because I sent it all in text message.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I do remember you saying that.
Yeah, no, I'm very proud of this. I wrote 2.5 fanfics using characters I knew nothing about over cell phone. And it was all written like 7 messages at a time because my phone could only handle 7 messages at a time. It was great. It was like just over 1,000 characters. That's all it could do. There's a party that night in the market square at sundown. Such parties after a bad storm or a negative energy cloud are traditional as the town celebrates everything that is still standing. What makes this night different is that for the first time in a long time, the elements decided to leave the town alone. And that is cause for double the celebration. The market square is festooned with color-papered streamers and is lit with red, orange, and yellow glow bugs swarming around, illuminating the gathered townsfolk. A great hog carcass turns on a spit in the center of the square. It seems smaller than usual, perhaps because there's no fear this will be anyone's last meal for a while. The smell of cooking meat hangs thick in the air. The fiddler, a young person with spiky hair and ample piercings, plays a merry tune to entertain the people in the long line for food. An area to the side is cleared for dancing, and many Acrotonians are already reeling through the tunnels of hands and do-si-doing around their partners. The fiddler finishes their song, and everyone claps. Before they can start another, one woman sings loudly, "Who's got a lot of luck?" And the crowd around her sings back, "We do." The fiddler gamely accompanies Acroton's favorite song. "Who's got a lot of luck? We do. We've got our loves, our friends, and you. The world is broken, but we've awoken to all our treasures true. Do, do, do. We thought the world would end. Look now, we've got a lovely world, and how smiling faces will warm embraces will happen anyhow. Who's got a lot of luck? We do, loved ones and good companions true. If once again the world should end, we'd start this song anew. What did you think of the crowd's song? It's great they finally have something to celebrate. It wasn't luck that saved them, it was me. It's oversimplified. People aren't never-ending fonts of cheer. Or needs more cowbell.
Boy. More cowbell, huh?
I mean, you can probably guess when this was written.
Was it rewritten?
Huh?
Because, I mean, I had a non-binary choice.
Yes, but I need you to remember the way that memes work. And how they hang on no matter when something happened. It doesn't matter when Christopher Walken was on SNL. Needs More Cowbell made a revival in the mid-teens.
Anyway, it's oversimplified. People aren't really that happy. That's not how life works.
As long as we have each other, we'll be alright? Yeah, right, you think. People can be obnoxious, rude, self-centered, hurtful. The worst kind of people, you think, are their own walking disasters. Increased caution, increased calculation. The fiddle player goes back to improvising, and you spot Tal at the head of the meat line, dressed in a dusty crimson tunic and wearing her purple stuffed monkey Noodles on his floppy arm with his floppy arms tied around her waist. She sees you, smiles, and waves. You can't hear what she's saying to the man handing out the meat, but in response, he gives her another extra big slice of pork. Tal comes over and offers to sit with you. Are you going to eat the pork? Yes, all meat is great. I'll eat meat, but not pork. No, I don't eat meat.
I don't know. I don't have a
How do we
opinion.
feel about this? I can't eat something so smart, but I also can't eat something living. Do I eat anything at all? Ah!
I eat meat, and I always remember that it is just one of many ways in which my continued existence is suffering. Suffering on others.
I can only exist by the sacrifice of another. Do not worry, young pig. Someday I will sacrifice myself. It is the only way. I've never seen any of these animes. I still think I do it really good. Tal offers you some of her pork, and you share. You.
So, what have you been up to since we got back?
You ask Tal. Got a hunt that's been giving me trouble, Tal says. Dodecapede descending from the mountains to eat crops. I've tried twice now to follow it to its lair, but having 12 legs apparently makes you a crazy fast climber. Followed the tracks of some mines, and then I lost the trail. She glances at you, then nudges you repeatedly. Eh? Wanna come? Wanna come? Offer to assist the hunt free of charge. Offer to help in exchange for half of Tal's fee, 200 gold. I pass. I'd rather spend time studying magic.
I feel like this is a good way to study magic. So, I'll offer to assist, but for half of Tal's fee. We also need money, I guess.
Tal, you're a good friend, but you know my time is valuable. If I'm not dedicating myself to the Dark Sun in order to negate it, I at least need to be earning something.
Speaking of the Dark Sun, hi Gigi.
Aw, you.
I'm happy to help you out.
You offer?
For half your hunter's fee, of course.
Of course, Tal says. We're partners. She counts out 20 gold tenors from her belt pouch. Her cost paid in advance her cost paid in advance up front, and Mom already took 100 from me, so don't let me down. Gain 200 gold.
No problem.
You say, increase Tal relationship.
Hi, Gigi.
What have you been up to anyway? Tal asks. Actually, wait a minute. I think I know. You shrug.
Yeah, exploring Eldritch mysteries, peering into the heart of truth itself, and accumulating enough power to rule the world. You know, like you do.
You say in a low voice, so only Tal
That you
can
always
hear.
use.
Yeah, and she giggles and gives you a scandalized look. You shouldn't joke, she says.
Oh, fuck! That was my solar plexus, Gigi.
Oh. Gigi.
With all 4 of her paws in a row. Bonk, 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 bonk.
Yeah.
Jump. Anyway, sorry.
There are any number of people in this town who would kill you for what you are. She nods to the dancing, laughing people. You suppose she's technically right, but it's a little hard to believe at the moment. You notice that Tal has finished her plate. The fiddler is playing a peppy tune. Across the square, you see Mayor Koss greeting various townsfolk as he makes his way to the dance floor. The young mayor is positively bouncing on his heels with excitement as he greets people. The miracle of the Death Cloud's dissipation has put him in the high spirits. You've sometimes wondered whether Koss would be a good match for you. He's intelligent and reasonably attractive, though he's always been weighed down by whatever town crisis he's dealing with at the moment. You've never seen him in higher spirits, though, and perhaps you could even drop a hint that you were the one who saved the town, eh? Or maybe you'd prefer to dance with Tal. Or, you suppose, you could just animate Tal's favorite stuffed monkey Noodles for fun. Tal would probably like that. Do we ask Tal to dance? Ask Tal if she wants to see Noodles dance out of sight of the townsfolk, of course, or excuse ourselves to go talk with Mayor Koss.
How to dance?
Want to ask Tal to dance?
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Yeah, I don't really know the mayor, you know?
Do you want to dance?
You say, gesturing towards the couples who are dancing together instead of towards the big line dance. Of course, Tal says. The two of you join the other romantic couples dancing near the fiddler. Who will lead? I'll lead. I'll let Tal lead. We'll just goof around and both lead.
Only I have the... Only I can take this great responsibility. I can't let other people take the risk.
Of leading in a dance? Okay.
Yeah, because
Alright.
like, what if you step wrong?
No, but not for that reason, but I do think we lead. I just thought about, like,
I can't let others take the responsibility.
You hold your hands up in a pose that suggests you'll lead, and Tal shrugs and accepts the follow position. You're a little physically awkward, but Tal just smiles and seems to enjoy herself anyway, increased Tal relationship. The time passes quickly as you dance with Tal, and you think her subtle smile and sideways glances indicate she's interested in you. How far do you want to try to go with Tal? I'm not interested in Tal that way. I just want to dance with her. I'd settle for a kiss goodnight. If we end up kissing, we'll see if she's interested in coming back to my place for cuddling. Gonna go all the way tonight.
If it wasn't phrased that way, I'd say number 4 for sure.
You'd say, obviously, I'd fuck Tal.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know what might happen tomorrow. One of us might die, maybe both of us. You have to take these brief moments where you can.
Like in that one Babylon 5 episode where Garibaldi fucks that lady. Yeah.
Okay, well, for a second I was like, are you gonna mention any episode about Dr. Franklin?
No.
Where
There's
he...
nothing good.
No, where he fucks a random patient every time?
Yeah, no, nothing good ever comes of that either.
Nothing ever
Sometimes
good
the show
comes of
wants me
Dr.
to-
Franklin.
Yeah.
I didn't even see half of that show. I saw only the first half of that show, and that is all I believe what I say.
You've seen more than half.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you went more than halfway through season 4, or maybe halfway through season 4.
I don't think I made it that far through season 4.
You basically saw the climax of the show. That was the last episode you watched. It was like kind of the climax,
with
and then
the,
it keeps going
with the-
because
with
it's
the-
awkward.
With the resolving of the two ancient parties that are trying to be good parents. Spoilers, I guess. Whatever.
I think only Chai is here.
I mean, if somebody might watch my... Okay, hold on a minute. Somebody might watch my YouTube video
true.
at least once. Come on!
People do that. That's true. I forget that exists. I forget people can watch my VODs.
I don't forget. It just doesn't happen. Oh. So what are we doing?
I guess 4 still.
You still want to go with 4? We
Yeah.
have to fuck Tal. At the end of the lively song, you dip Tal, and while everyone is applauding, you kiss her. No dainty pecks for Tal. She's a ferocious kisser. She's also she's both.
Yeah, not wrong.
You right yourselves, and Tal's uncovered eye tries to take you in, wondering where you're going with this. You're okay? You ask. Oh, sorry.
You okay?
You ask. Yeah. You're okay?
Yeah. Hey, you know, we could go somewhere a little more private.
You say.
My place?
Did Tal just wink at you? Or was she blinking? It's always tough to say with the eye patch. Sure. When you get back to your place, as soon as the doors are shut, Tal shoves you against the wall and kisses you hard. And you thought her kisses were aggressive in public. You make your way to the bed, clothing is removed. You find Tal wears a surprisingly frilly, tattered one-piece undergarment. What? I got it cheap! Hands roam where they will, and more kissing, so much more kissing. And then you decide to take it further, pulling down the straps of Tal's undergarments. Tal yelps in surprise, and pulls her undergarments back up.
What's wrong?
You say. I thought you just wanted to mess around, Tal says. Not mess around.
Well, why shouldn't we?
Tal, meanwhile, is grabbing her tunic and sliding it back on. What's gotten into you? This is the sort of thing my mother would do after Dad died, Tal says. Just using people as temporary emotional bandages without thinking about how they might get hurt in the long run.
Tal, it's not like that.
You protest?
You're not using me.
I should go, Tal says. I don't know what I'm doing here. She heads for the door.
Wait, what does that mean?
You say.
Do you still want to be a couple?
I don't know, Tal says. Not right now. Not right now. You're left pondering the maddening ambiguity as Tal leaves your apartment. Decreased Tal in relationship.
Yep.
Across the square. We came back. Damn it. No. This can't be how tonight ends.
Yeah, wait. What the hell?
It's a little. Some of them are a little. Some of them are a little weirdly constructed. Across the square, you can see Mayor Koss speaking. Well, I struck out. It can't end like this. I have to go back to the party. Make things right. Make tonight right. Across the square, you can see Mayor Koss shaking.
It was a victory today, wasn't it?
Oh. Shaking hands with various townsfolk. His bright orange tunic makes it easy to find him in a crowd. Koss's spectacles give him a scholarly air, but he has a ready, friendly smile. His belt is overburdened with various pouches and tools hanging from it, including a book pouch, a sheath for a pen, lockpicks, and a bag of dice. How do you know Koss, besides as mayor? We once worked together replanting after a death cloud came through. We sometimes fly kites together in the commons, or we were in a band together before he was mayor.
It's that one. We were in a band.
We were in a band together before he was mayor.
We bared our souls to the world.
And, they didn't mostly appreciate it. We didn't get good gigs, but it's fine.
Koss has been mayor for 8 years. Before that, he was a kind of dilettante like yourself, doing odd jobs for everyone in town. He had a lot more spare time then, and he had a band. What instrument did you play in Koss's band? Cowbell? Flute? Drums? Trumpet?
Drums.
You found you enjoyed keeping a steady rhythm that drove the rest of the band. Increased optimism, increased calculation. The band practiced and performed in the bar that has now been converted to Koss's office. As band leader, Koss was always trying out new music, handing out new sheets every rehearsal. So, this piece is interesting because it was last performed 200 years ago by a trio of chanting saints. But I've adapted it for our instruments. Let's see how it goes. Some experiments succeeded, and many failed, but Koss never lost his optimism and upbeat attitude. Okay, let's try tuning again. And this time, let's really listen for that wavering sound that tells us we're not quite in tune. You think Koss knew being a musician wasn't really your heart's calling, and on occasion he tried to get closer to you and understand you better. But you were afraid to say what you really wanted. It was silly, it was impossible, it was forbidden. Plus, you were still a teenager. You think Koss knew there was something you held back, but he respected your boundaries. You remained just two musicians in a silly band that's now just a memory. He spots you and makes his way through the crowd towards you. "Vex," he says. "I was just looking for you. First, I just want to thank you for your donation to the fund to rebuild the Copper Tree." You say it was nothing. Second, I've been thinking about your request for a professional name, and I've assembled a list of tasks the town would like done. Any one of which could lead to a professional calling endorsed by the town. Just stop by my office in the next couple of days. I'll have the details there. Is there something you'd like from the mayor this evening? He's cute. I'd like to ask him to dance. He hears everything. I want a sense of how much people know about me. I'd like to discreetly let him know I saved the town. I'll ask about that board game he designed. What do I do? I used to be in a band with this guy. He knows my inner heart.
I want to do 2 and 3.
You can't.
Like this, I can't.
That's not how this works.
No, I know. I just would like to do both of them.
You can't.
Two. I need to keep it secret. Mayor Koss, have you heard any odd rumors about me lately?
You ask? Well, I mean, I did hear one rumor, Koss says, that maybe you were involved in some magic. The rumor was fuzzy on whether you were the Hexed or the Hexer. Why?
No reason.
You say, relieved that the details about your magic use are so vague. Mayor Koss is then pulled away by other townsfolk clamoring for his attention. The party begins to wind down, and where there was once a great crowd, now small groups chat with one another. Ladles come up empty from the wine jugs, and the butcher in his pit is packing up his knives, getting ready for another early day tomorrow. It occurs to you that you could still perform one more tiny miracle for the townsfolk before you turn in for the night yourself. Are you tempted? Enchant the wine jugs so they don't run out tonight? Enchant the fiddlers so that they don't tire tonight? Or, they seem fine here.
Seems like a really bad idea. I can't stop fiddling.
The devil compels me.
I've been fiddling for 3 days. Please. I think they seem fine here. I think we've been spurned and like we're at a part. We're the sort who like leaves the party halfway through and it's like
I can't taint them. They've had their good time. Anything I do will just ruin that beautiful memory.
They're having their good time, and I'm not. I don't belong here.
You've never really been much of a party person, and this party seems to be going fine anyway. You head home and manage to reread a good 2 chapters of an ancient history book before nodding off to sleep, gained ancient history. You wake in the next morning, a bit groggy, having stayed up rather later than you intended.
Bon Marne, Darman. No, it's worse. It's even getting a little Grover, as so many of my things do. Bon Marne, Dominex.
Your golem intones from the corner.
Good morning.
You say. head to Tal's place to embark on the hunt you agreed to. You and Tal travel north to the Crown Mountains, where snow from the past winter is still gradually melting into the river Nemnos. It is 3 days' ride to the feet of the mountains, where your quarry was last seen munching farmers' crops. You travel without animals, since they couldn't follow you into the mountains. You hunt a dodecapede, a shaggy, white-haired, 12-legged mammal bred by the ancients as a beast of burden for the mines. Tal says it looks rather like a giant elongated Pekingese dog. Tal seems to be back to her usual jovial self and is apparently forgiving you for the night of the town's party. The dodecapede's tracks are no great feat to spot. Each depression is nearly 2 feet wide, leading very evenly up the hills through the new fallen snow. Tal assures you that it's not as big as it appears. The beast knows to step in its own tracks and widens them that way. You've never been much help to Tal on her hunts before, as you've never been a great fighter compared to her. So you're eager to prove your worth this time. What's the plan? Follow the tracks, blast the beast, and bring back its head. Create a new crop for the beast to eat with vivimancy and convince the clients the problem is solved. Find a new food source for the dodecapede with divination and convince the clients the problem is solved. Leave poison food outside the beast's lair requires alchemy set and 25 gold. Revive the old mine machinery with automation to drive the beast out of its lair and possibly recover some gold, or defeat the beast in melee with our blades.
I would like to get that up some. It seems neat and fitting.
You'd like what?
To get that up some, the automation. What is our automation, is what I asked.
Oh.
Because that's definitely the one I'd want to do the most. I just don't know if we're good enough to do it.
Our automation lies here. Better than glamour, a little better than divination, and less than negation and vivimancy.
Yeah, I'd say, like, just use negation, but Tal doesn't like it.
It's true. She hates it.
And also, with automation, we get some gold, and I think it would be useful to have that. I don't know. We could try it.
You want to try automation?
Yeah.
You think that a working mine of the ancients would be impossible for the creature to live in, so you decide to try to revive the old machinery. When you get to the old mine entrance, you touch one of the iron rails leading inside and raise your other hand to the sky. Willing yourself to be a conduit between sky and metal, you intone!
Fodina Aureus.
Aureus.
Aurorius. Revis.
Reviviscat.
Oh my gosh. Revis. I can't.
Fodina Aureus Reviviscat.
It's really hard for me to say that, apparently.
It's probably less hard for you to say if you're not reading it directly, because it's one of those words that's like, you could probably say it if you were reciting it from hearing it, but if you read it, you're like, wait, was a what? What? That's how I imagine it anyway. Lightning strikes your raised hand and flows down the tracks into the mine. You can feel it dissipating into the huge underground structure, but at this point your skill with automation is great enough that you can increase the power you channel in response until you begin to feel the distant thrum of machinery through the iron tracks. Loud clanks begin to sound from within the mine. You can hear the stomping footfalls of the dodecapede headed for the mine entrance, and you and Tal take cover to watch the beast emerge. It looks positively annoyed. But it doesn't see you and Tal, and it stomps off to look for less noisy places to live. You now seem to be the proud owner of an operational gold mine. Exploring it, you discover 400 gold's worth of nuggets that you and Tal split with Tal. And you can see that more automated golem claws are chiseling away at veins through this mine. Gain 200 gold. The mine looks as though its deposits are nearly used up, but if you're patient, there should still be plenty of gold left for one person. Before you leave, you also cobble together some automatic doors for the entrance to keep out looters now that the dodecapede is no longer there to scare them away. You think such occasional projects for the mine's upkeep will end up being quite instructive, gained automation. You resolve to check back on the mine later and collect whatever additional gold has been procured. You meet up with Tal's clients, all grizzled farmers, at a tavern back in town. Unfortunately, they seem completely unwilling to pay Tal because she is unable to produce the head of the monster for them. But we dealt with your problem, Tal complains. What does it matter whether we have the head? Sorry, we're traditionalists, a grizzled old man with a long beard says. But thanks for trying. Tal shoots you an accusing look. You think she might go on hunts alone in the future. Money aside, this was probably a little bad for her reputation. Decreased Tal relationship. Since you and Tal are...
See the real me.
And she shouldn't like it. It's only right that she finds out now. Since you and Tal are both tired from your travels at the hunt, you part ways with few words and go to bed a little early. Between your excitement at your discoveries from the Sunken Academy, the unexpected arrival of the negative energy cloud, as well as Tal's invitation to the hunt, you've been delaying your decision about your relationship with the town. When you were younger, you imagined becoming an official town wizard. You still have some hope that if the town saw everything you could do for them, people might set aside their superstitions about magic. But perhaps that is naive. What will your relationship to the town be? Ask Mayor Koss if I can be an official town mayor. I'd prefer to be a quiet benefactor of the town, subtly helpful. Or I owe the town nothing, and I will do what I want.
Somewhere between 2 and 3. I think I own the town nothing.
With amazing magical powers, why settle for serving the town? What magic would you like to play with instead? Glamour? Pretend to be a noble and borrow money from rich friends. Divination? Find out important people's salacious secrets. Negation? Blow up monsters in the country, sell their parts in town. Repeat. Vivimancy? Create new creatures to roam the earth. These monsters will be the sacrifice to my understanding.
Yes.
Do not worry, monsters. One day, I will be in oblivion with you, sacrificed like you were. You don't really care much about helping the town, but you would like to practice your negation magic on living targets, and the monsters outside town seem like just the thing. You begin to make a habit of trekking outside town, blowing up monsters, and bringing their remaining parts back to town to sell in the market. It's kind of fun, if a little repetitive, and you enjoy the process of getting better at negation magic and gaining gold in the process. Gain negation, gain 400 gold. It's true that your actions leave negative energy clouds dotting the countryside, free to blow where they will, but they're really very small compared to how much wide open space there is outside. You blow up a dodecapede, a nightmare, a harpy, a giant feral chicken called a chickabo, and an intelligent and surprisingly tasty blob of magic mutated swamp muck called a flan, an enclave of octopus-headed brain suckers called illopusses, not illopi, though some people often assume that that's the plural, and some land octopuses that split rocks, which are called roctopi. Not roctopuses, as some people who would know the correct plural of illopus often assume. And not Octoroks, shut up. Though the mayor hasn't officially approved your role in the town, everyone starts calling you Hunter Vex. And you think the name will stick. Then, on what seems like another routine visit to the market square, you're arrested. It seems apothecaries have put your monster parts into potions, and the parts you supplied Made people very sick. Hunters have also been noticing their quarries going missing, giant negative clouds in their space. Blaze, you're hauled away to prison, gagged and bound, to keep you from casting spells. Akraton's jail is humble. Your cell consists of stone walls, desultorily covered with peeling plaster, tiny, barred windows open to the outside, a somewhat shabby straw mattress, a chamber pot, a bucket of somewhat fresh water, and an iron door with a small peephole. This is a cell designated by someone who thinks prisoners deserve the basics, but nothing more. If you weren't bound and gagged, you could think of about 5 ways to get out of here. Blow through the walls with negation, use a glamour to get the guard to play along, automation to unlock the doors, and so on. But old lore stipulates what to do with a captured mage, and you can't cast anything if you can't move or speak. The next step is traditionally public execution. You spend the days waiting for an opportunity to escape. Just a moment. You would have thought they would need to unbind you to let you relieve yourself. But your hopes are dashed when a guard comes by to help you relieve yourself without unbinding your arms. And dashed again when your gag is replaced with a trough of gruel bound to your mouth that still keeps you from speaking. Still, you hold out hope that your opportunity will come. They go for days without killing you. That means something, you're sure of it. Finally, this routine is interrupted when you hear an announcement. Witch Vex, you have some visitors from the capital.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I think that's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
I think that next time we do this, we can start Chapter 3, Visitors. I've been playing, I started playing this game not too long ago. I've been really enjoying it, and I realized it would actually be really good to share with a stream that could potentially make choices. So that's why I'm here.
Choices of magic.
No.
Choices of magic. It's just weird. I don't know if this is such a weird word they made up.
Choices of magics.
Yeah, it's just like a made up.
Yeah.
Choices of magics.
That's right.
Crazy. It's crazy how inventive they are. With a whole word. It's like magic, but not. Magic, but not.
Wow, we've managed to really blow our relationship with Tal in the last several attempts.
Oof. She was?
She was actually pretty high, yes. We were majorly fucked up.
I think that's very fitting for what this character is. I think that I'm happy with how that went, actually.
Mirkos is like, whatever.
Yeah. No, I think it's really good that we were like, yes, we're in a relationship, so we should fuck now while we can. And she's like, oh, oh, God.
Hey, did you ever consider that I have feelings and, I actually have, my own hang-ups, and it's really fucking weird that you're just pressing this on me after one dance?
I am a monster.
I mean, I don't think I'd go that far, but, I'm gonna go.
I'm a monster!
Yeah, whatever, I'm going to go. I hope that you don't fuck up my hunt for me. Oh, cool, you got a mine? That's great. Everybody thinks I suck at my job. Go to hell. Or, go to your fucking dark sun that you love so much. Alright, well, I'm gonna stop the stream here, and we'll start this again next time with Chapter 3. Bye.